$1.33 per gallon. According to Gas Buddy, that's up over 10 cents compared from earlier this week. And tonight is the final night of the regular season for remaining WNBA teams. The playoffs begin on Sunday for the Indiana Fever. Checking traffic. Good morning, Matt Baer.
Hey, Jarrett, looking at westbound 465 slow off 31. Southside northbound 65 slow. Raymond Street into the south split. It's construction. Traffic sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Get renter's insurance from Progressive Insurance to protect the things that make your place a home, including coverage for theft or damage. Visit Progressive.com. That's Progressive.com. I'm Matt Baer with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
Hey, do you have more than $200,000 saved for retirement? You could put that money in the stock market, but you have no idea what will happen with it. Or you could make a smarter move and get a 20% upfront bonus and a competitive return that's averaged more than 10% annually over the last 10 years. Here's the math. If you invest $200,000, you get an upfront $40,000 bonus. That's $240,000, right?
That $240,000 could earn 10% or $24,000 in that first year. So by year's end, your original $200,000 could grow to $264,000. Get all the information by calling Bill Demery, your retirement guy, 317-648-5120, or visit yourretirementguy.com. That's Bill Demery, your retirement guy, 317-648-5120, or visit yourretirementguy.com.
This hour is powered by Sundown Gardens, Hamilton County's fall nursery headquarters.
Forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Sunny, quiet, and very warm this afternoon. A little hazy at times. Today's high 85. Mainly clear, quiet, and comfortably cool overnight. A low of 56. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey, 93 WIBC.
And I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Kendall and Casey starts now.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Okay, look, we're just going to start with this. This will not be a normal show today. It never is on 9/11. To begin with, and then obviously with the horrific events yesterday and the assassination of Charlie Kirk. So I'm Rob, that's Casey. This is the Kendall and Casey show, and look, we're going to just feel our way through it today, because the story that it completely captivated the nation yesterday was the assassination of conservative pundit, commentator Charlie Kirk. And you know what's interesting to me, Casey, is, and I had a long conversation with my my wife about this, because she's been a consumer of his content much more so than I have for a long time. I said, and it's a conversation that you and I have on this program quite a bit, which is that we can't make anybody do anything. Like the hatred of any media person just blows my mind, because you don't have to consume it.
Right.
Like, you're under no obligation at any point. No person is to engage in any person in the media. If you don't like their online content, block them. You know, other than if somebody's sharing something in your feed, you never see them. If you don't like the program, whether it's a podcast like a Charlie Kirk or a radio program like ours, turn it off. The people, us, the media, we have no control over your life. Charlie Kirk had no control over your life. He's not an elected person. He's not the president. He's not a governor. He's not a senator. He didn't have to exist in anyone's orbit that didn't want to hear or see him. The same way we don't have to exist in anyone's orbit that doesn't want to consume or see us. And yet, some person or people, obviously the culprit or culprits are still, as of the beginning of this broadcast, still at large, had something so had so much hate in their soul. That's the first part of it. But had something so terribly wrong with them that they felt the only recourse was to assassinate some guy who was just out having a conversation with people.
Yeah. Someone couldn't handle him on an intellectual level, so they resorted to violence. That person, who is still at large, by the way, had a choice to not engage with his platforms. They couldn't handle it. And my question is, what did it solve?
Yeah, so, and by the way, if you want to watch this stay on the YouTube, I'm sure we'll have a lot of people. There's a little bit of a problem in the description. It says Tony Katz in the morning news. Obviously, it's Kendall and Casey show. You can look for the WIBC feed. So if you're looking for us today, for some reason, it's still labeled as Tony Katz. But we are live. We are on the YouTube. If you just put WIBC into your YouTube search bar, you'll find us. Watch us. Clearly, hundreds of people are already doing that, so people are finding it. But we just wanted to put that out there. And so throughout the course of the day today, we will talk a lot about the life and the legacy of Charlie Kirk. We'll talk a lot about what this means for our country, because free speech is under assault. That's what this was. Maybe where we can or should go from here. And then, in the backdrop of all of this, it's the 24th anniversary of 9/11, which obviously was horrific in the sense that 3,000 people lost their lives. But also, while it's the mourning of those people and the mourning of our country's never been the same since 9/11, the actions of our own government post 9/11, et cetera, the country never reestablished itself. But it was at the same time, and I've always tried to do this on our shows that are anniversaries of 9/11, highlight it was the best of America, too. It highlighted the best of who we were. The people, the firefighters, the police officers, the people at the Pentagon, all the first responders, all the just people who were working in those buildings.
The people who ran to danger instead of running from it.
Right. Who were willing to give their lives or did give their lives. The people on the plane in Pennsylvania that took the plane down so it wouldn't hit the White House. And so, I've always tried to put that as the showcase of the best of what America had to offer. So we're just we don't have a plan really for today's show. I mean, we do know Nikki Kelly will join us at 10:15 as she always does. A lot of stuff going on in the state. We'll get to that stuff too. But Casey was like, "What do you want to do today?" And I said, "We'll just feel it out as we go." Well, because I don't think you can plan through a day like this. What I do know is another thing I do know is I had forgotten this, and my wife reminded me. I had interviewed Charlie Kirk about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
He was at an event in Indiana, and I interviewed him. And so next hour, at 10 o'clock, we will play
The interview.
And you just say, when we'll get to his legacy and his life and all those sorts of things, because it will leave a colossal void in the influence of young people in this country.
Yeah, this is going to ripple outwards. It's going to shape media narratives, political discourse, cultural memory. His death is going to shape politics, digital discourse, security in the modern age.
Sure, and without knowing, in a weird way, it almost doesn't even matter. I was going to say, without knowing who the person is or what they did, but it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter who the person is or why they did it, because there's no acceptable reason to do it. There's nothing that's not abhorrent beyond belief in terms of the action that was taken yesterday. But I think if there is, because we always try to have sort of threads throughout the course of the show, I think the thread today will be that free speech in this country is under assault. And I was on with Hammer and Nigel yesterday afternoon, and they asked me, because I was at the park with Livy playing when I did the interview with them, and I'm watching her and I'm talking to them, and they asked me the question. They said, "Look," and I'm not getting it exactly right, but they said, "Look, you're very out there, right? Just like this guy was very out there. Are you ever concerned for your safety?" And I said, well, it's interesting because Charlie Kirk was far more congenial about his engagement.
He was very respectful in his debates.
Right. Look, and this is maybe because I served. It was like a prison sentence, right? Like I served time in the system.
Mm-hmm.
I am the political version of a brawler, right? Like to me, it's like you want to fight, not literally fight, but you want to have an ideological fight. Let's have a fight, right? Like I'm going to call you out. I'm going to say exactly what I think of you because that's what I would want you to do to me. That's what people did to me when I was an elected person. No tears here. But if you compare like a style of like I have to a Charlie Kirk, he just sat there. He let people have their say and then calmly responded to them. This is about hating the existence of a human being. That the guy, it was a hatred that the guy was allowed to live. And so to their question, like, do you get concerned? To some extent, there's always some level of concern. But you can't live your life that way. And I had these conversations with my old man when I was young because he was a federal law enforcement officer and dealt with the worst of the worst. And he used to tell me that all the time. He's like, people sense fear. I remember my dad telling me this when I was a kid. He was, are you ever afraid of dealing with these people? He said, no. He said, people sense fear. And you can't live your life in fear. And fear is what these people want. And if you think about it, we'll come into this a little bit later when we talk about 9/11. 9/11 and the attack, yes, it was about the death and calamity of what they were able to accomplish that day, the terror, they being the terrorists. But it was also about altering and changing the American course of life. That's right. Stephen, indie reporter in the YouTube chat, and I were just talking about this thing the other night when we got together about do you live your life in fear? And the answer is you can't do it because then those people win.
Right.
You have to take your precautions. You know, people know I very rarely ever leave my house. There are reasons for that. But I'm not going to stop coming in here every day. I'm not going to stop talking about the things that are important to me. I'm not going to stop calling out the politicians. Just like Charlie Kirk was not going to stop calling out the politicians.
Yeah,
you can't live in fear. You cannot live in fear.
Charlie Kirk did it to prove that free speech is real and it's worth defending. And he died in action of that right.
Yeah. And he would want
people to keep talking.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He would absolutely want people to keep talking.
And
because
keep praying.
You're right. All right. So let's take a break. When we come back, we'll get into a little bit of, it's the anniversary of 9/11. We'll obviously spend much of our show talking about Charlie Kirk. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on locally, though. The lawmakers met yesterday on the redistricting stuff. So, I mean, we just got a million things to try to get to. We'll do our best. No plan for today. We'll all get through this together. We're glad you're here with us.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Sun's up, the coffee is brewing, and Tony Katz is your morning information barista.
Tony Katz, good to be with you.
Clarity.
We're not interested in having this debate. We're only interested in honestly addressing the issue.
Context.
We should not present this in any other light. The objective is the destruction of Western civilization.
And a little caffeine.
Only the Constitution should rule.
Tony Katz in the Morning News. Weekdays 6 till 9 on 93 WIBC.
There's something timeless about radio. It's where stories are told, ideas are shared, and communities stay connected. Our generation grew up with it, and we still believe in the power of tuning in. At Howard Bailey Financial, we believe planning for retirement should feel just as familiar and trusted. That's why we're bringing real conversations and practical advice to the airwaves. Join us every Sunday at 9 p.m. for our Retire with Purpose Radio Hour, right here on 93.1 WIBC. We'll talk about what really matters in retirement, income you can count on, choices you can feel good about, and a future that reflects your values. Because some things, like good planning and good radio, never go out of style. Howard Bailey Financial, retirement planning that speaks your language. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com. The Retire with Purpose Radio Hour is a paid placement on each airing station.
Change is always happening, It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten, classics are remixed, bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
People think slavery ended long ago, but what if I told you it's worse than ever? Human trafficking is an epidemic, stealing lives in plain sight. Into the darkness, God raised up Project Rescue, bringing light, healing, and hope. Every year, Life Church partners with the Lucas family to host the Hope Starts Here breakfast for business partners with the gift of giving who want to make a difference. Join us Thursday, September 18th at Lucas Estates and see what happens when Hoosiers stand united against evil. Learn more at lifechurchin.com.
Of all the times to buy new Lincoln, right now is the very best time at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get 0% APR for up to 48 months on 2025 Lincoln Corsair, Nautilus, or Aviator. Plus get a $1,000 Tom Roush Trade Assist bonus. So come get that new Lincoln from Tom Roush Lincoln, where our family's been serving yours for over 53 years.
36-month, 10,000-mile per year lease. 2,500 due at signing. No security deposit required. All offers subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details. Ends 9/30/25.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Serving in the military requires great sacrifices, not just for one's country, but also for one's family. Not surprisingly, divorce for soldiers is especially difficult, and it raises a number of challenges that are peculiar to military divorce, things such as deployments, relocation, retirement benefits. These issues can be complicated. So if you're a soldier facing such challenges, go to CordellCordell.com.
101 West Ohio, Indianapolis. CordellCordell.com.
At Advent, we help sleep apnea sufferers avoid the CPAP machine by getting your nose and throat working with our unique Advent approach that you won't find elsewhere.
Fall is in full swing at Sundown Gardens. Locally grown mums and pumpkins, plus fall annuals and decor. 186th Street, Spring Mill Road in Westfield. It's sundown.gardens.com.
All right, it's the Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob. Casey's here. Just a programming note, because it is 9/11. All of our bumper music today is an album that was written all about 9/11. It's The Rising by Bruce Springsteen. It was a showcase. It's an incredible album. Like, I know a lot of people, they don't like his politics or whatever. This album was incredible because all the songs, obviously he's from New Jersey, New York. He was just, close to many people who were impacted by 9/11. And if you've never heard this album, it is all about, like, legitimate people who were in and around various things that happened on 9/11. And much of the album is specific people, places, things. And it's just a perfect album to play as a tribute to those people. We'll play it all day. The heroes, the firemen, the police officers, just individual people who stepped up. And we'll get to the 9/11 stuff here in a second. We'll do a lot more Charlie Kirk throughout the course of the day. There was stuff going on in the state of Indiana, though, yesterday.
Yeah, that's true.
And we would be absolutely remiss if we didn't talk about some of this stuff, because it can potentially have a big impact on your life.
So some Indiana State Republicans, they met yesterday, and they were discussing the mid-decade redistricting. No details were shared, though.
So the senators, this is great. You'll love this. So Indiana has what's called an open door law. Like, if you're a local government, let's say you're a town council and there's 5 of you. The lawmakers, these senators, state house reps, they write a law that says if 3 of you are in a room together talking about public policy, you can't do that behind closed doors. You got to do it in a public meeting. And if you don't, it's called a violation of the open door law. But the senators, have written the law so that anytime they want, can go behind closed doors and talk about whatever they want, and you don't get to see it, and you don't have any idea. So when they stroll their asses out to vote on something, about 95% of the time, it's a fait accompli, and they know exactly what's going to go down. The debate, glorified floor show. The debate, those guys are playing on their Candy Crush on their cell phones because they already know what's going down.
Based on
the hypocrisy of these
meetings.
people. Yeah, the hypocrisy of these people, where you can get as a local government person in huge trouble if you violate the open door law. But these guys, they do whatever they want, and that's what they did yesterday. They're cowards. They're gutless cowards who don't want to have the debate in public because they know the public at large, and now multiple polls have backed this up. There have been multiple polls that have come out, but the public is against this rigging of further rigging. They're already rigged. Further rigging of the electoral maps, primarily probably because they recognize they're rigging the maps to put people like disgraced former public safety secretary Jennifer Ruth Green into office up in the 1st Congressional District. People look at her and know that's the golden child, and that's who they're propping up by rigging these maps. No thank you. That doesn't do anything for me. So they don't want to have the debate in public. So what they do is they go behind closed doors, and then they walk out and won't tell you what they talked about.
Yeah, you've got the Senate President Pro Tem Rod Bray. He declined to comment after the meeting. You have had some senators and representatives come out and voice their opposition to redistricting. Of course, you have many others saying they're for it. And you have one rep who has gone from hard no to hell yes.
Yeah, Jim Lucas is the winner of our Dumbass of the Day award, and he is a regular recipient. He's got a trophy case full of the Dumbass of the Day awards. And this guy is ridiculous because he was adamantly against this. Jim Lucas is a representative from Seymour. He is best known as the state rep, Jim Lucas, who drove drunk, blew through the barricade, fled the scene, tried to hide his car, then got cute with the cops when they tried to question him on what he was doing. And he came out and was adamantly against this. Why? Because as much as it pains him, he was right. The maps are already fair. The maps are already drawn correctly. The maps already reflect a Republican majority in our state, amongst other reasons. And he wasn't just against it. Casey backed me up on this repeatedly, including getting into it with Charlie Kirk, as I recall, or responding to a Charlie Kirk post, unless my memory is failing me, about how this was the wrong thing to do. And now in some, whether it's emotional or political or a mixture of both or what, you go from adamantly against something, laying out specifically why it's harming the state, to, I'm for it now. Look, it's horrible that Charlie Kirk was assassinated. It's beyond words. It dramatically affects people like us because this is our business. We're in the same business. But you cannot legislate for 7 million people off some knee-jerk emotional or politically expedient reaction. You look like a complete buffoon, a complete moron, when you're so adamantly against something, and then just because something happens, look, I'm sorry, society has to continue to move forward. There'll be a day when you're not here, Casey, and I'm not here, and Kevin's not here. I don't expect society to stop. I don't expect people to legislate for 7 million people. Hopefully we live very long, happy, prosperous lives. But you cannot be, well, okay, because Charlie Kirk was assassinated, now I've got to go against everything I just said. That doesn't make any sense. He doesn't know who assassinated Charlie Kirk. He has no idea why he was assassinated. Like, no idea. None. But this is how our lawmakers legislate in just a knee-jerk, whatever the feeling of the moment is, and thus why we get the policies we do, and that is not a good thing.
Some people are arguing, though, that you can't rationalize with the hate that we saw yesterday that was inflicted upon Charlie Kirk. And redistricting is a way to stop it.
How is getting 2 more Jennifer Ruth Greens or Jefferson Shreves, one, going to make anybody's life better? Because that's who you're going to get. Look at the makeup of our 7 of 9 Republican U.S. representatives. Average amount, the best one might be Stutzman, although he goes further down the crapper by the day. And tell me how getting an additional of any of those people is going to make your life any better. How does that avenge Charlie Kirk? How does putting another Jennifer Ruth Green or Jefferson Shreve or Aaron Houchin in the Congress screwing the elections in our state, because they've admitted this is all political, how does that avenge Charlie Kirk?
I think people are thinking they would rather have a Jefferson Shreve or another representative like that than someone who's liberal.
What is Frank Mervan? Let's just pick the 1st congressional district. What has Frank Mervan done that has anything to do with this? You can not like the guy's politics. Great, fine. They're with you. What did he do to contribute to any of this? Nothing. So you're telling me a gun grabber like Jefferson Shreve, a guy who just changes his mind as often as he changes his underwear, whatever position's expedient in the moment to win whatever office he desires, because he somehow went from gun grabbers are us to Mr. 2A, based on what office he was running for, or some allegedly completely corrupt, scandal-ridden person like Jennifer Ruth Green, who allegedly appears to have used her $275,000 taxpayer-funded job to elevate herself and her own excesses and grandiose desires. How does replacing Frank Mervan with them make your life any better, or how does it get even, or whatever word we want to use, for the death of Charlie Kirk? Someone's going to have to explain that to me. But what I do know is we have lawmakers like Jim Lucas who just say wild things, whatever's going on in the moment, totally ignoring the well thought out. It's rare he has anything well thought out, but he did on this, and he's just going to ignore all that because of what happened yesterday. That we cannot function like that as a society.
No special session has been scheduled yet to address any redistricting. It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Don't let pneumococcal pneumonia break your stride. If you're 50 or older, you're at increased risk. So be proactive with Capvaxive pneumococcal 21-valent conjugate vaccine to help protect against invasive pneumococcal disease and pneumonia caused by certain types of pneumococcal bacteria. Capvaxive helps protect against the strains of bacteria that cause about 30% more IPD cases than any other pneumococcal conjugate vaccine in adults over 50, according to national-level CDC stats. Regional variations may exist. Don't get Capvaxive if you're allergic to the vaccine or its ingredients. Tell your doctor if you have a weakened immune system. Common side effects include injection site reactions, feeling tired, headache, muscle aches, and fever. Capvaxive does not protect against all strains. For more information, call 1-800-927-8888 or visit capvaxive.com. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Capvaxive. Need help paying for your Merck vaccine? Visit merckhelps.com. Sponsored by Merck.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
How those in D.C. are reacting. It's sunny and 65 in downtown Indy. Highs today in the mid-80s. I'm Jarrett Lewis. It's now 9:32. Members of Congress reacting to the death of Turning Point USA co-founder Charlie Kirk.
Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna, one of many members of Congress grieving the loss of Charlie Kirk. Luna was recruited by Kirk to run for Congress as she vows to continue his legacy.
I was supposed to go to medical school, and he convinced me that politics would be a better option, so we'll help continue that fight and for the movement.
Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle, including Democrat Eric Swalwell, a fierce critic of President Trump, condemning political violence and calling for civility.
It's awful, and it has no room in our politics, and we can't normalize political violence.
This as many lawmakers have faced increased threats to their safety.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz reporting. Scott Robbins, who was outside the area at the time of the shooting, tells Fox's The Ingram Angle that he started looking for the shooter.
When I pulled up, I was in the back with a friend, and we were walking closer when I heard the gunshot. And people started screaming and running, so I just dropped to a knee. Since I'm a Marine, some training kicked in.
FBI Director Kash Patel said 2 persons of interest were released from custody after interrogation. The FBI also said this hour that they do have the weapon in their possession that they believe was used in the shooting. And the trial of Ryan Ruth is moving forward after jury selection. Ruth was the man behind the second assassination attempt of President Donald Trump. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management. The Dow is up 112 points, 45,490. The S&P 500 also in the green. It's up 17 points to 6,532. And the NASDAQ rising 77 points to 23,849. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com.
Football is back, and so are great hairlines. We Grow Hair Indy has helped former local professional football players get back in the game with full natural hair. You don't have to play pro ball to get pro-level results. Hey, it's Rob, and I knew I picked the right team when I needed a Hail Mary for my hair. I called We Grow Hair Indy. Whether you're tailgating, coaching, or watching from the couch, do it with confidence. Trade the sidelines for a hairline. Get back in the game at We Grow Hair Indy. Schedule your free evaluation today at WeGrowHairIndy.com. That's WeGrowHairIndy.com or call 317-522-2995. That's 317-522-2995. Enjoy being out and about this fall. Enjoy watching the games in person with your friends with confidence you haven't had in years. And you can do it with a trip to We Grow Hair Indy. 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995. Tell them Rob sent you.
You hear that? That's Mike sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. That's because Mike was smart this time. He took ZQL Ultra to fall asleep fast, stay asleep longer, and get the deeply restorative sleep he needs. So now he wakes up refreshed and ready to conquer Mondays.
Let's do this Monday.
ZQL Ultra. Not for colds, just for sleep. Really great sleep. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
As our loved ones age, ensuring their safety at home becomes a top priority. This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joyce House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. I'll be right back with some practical things you can do to reduce the possibility of a fall or injury.
Cardon & Associates provides residents with the best senior living options and personalized service. Visit cardon.us to find a community near you.
Removing tripping hazards such as rugs and floor clutter is one way to prevent or minimize falls around the home. Another is to position grab bars in the restroom and other common areas where your loved one may need some extra support. Contact your local area agency on aging to inquire about low-cost or free installation services. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joyce House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access a library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
The kids are heading back to school, and let's be honest, you're finally getting the house to yourself again, which makes now the perfect time to take care of that roof, siding, or gutters you've been putting off. And Moss Roofing is here to help. Moss Roofing has been helping Central Indiana homeowners for 34 years. They're family-owned, locally rooted, and known for doing things right every single time. Free inspections, honest advice, and top-quality work on roofing, siding, gutters, and windows. They treat your home like it's their own, and they clean up like they were never there. That's why they've got great reviews and a loyal following of happy homeowners. So don't put it off any longer. Let Moss Roofing check your roof, your siding, and your gutters to make sure they're ready for the winter ahead. For your free inspection, call 317-747-3665. Tell them Tony Katz sent you. 317-747-3665. Moss Roofing, 747-3665, or online at Moss, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com.
Call today or go to bwindow.com and receive up to 50% off plus a free patio door.
Because at B-Window,
we mean business.
My city of ruins. My city of ruins.
It is the 24th anniversary of 9/11. It's Kendall Casey show. I'm Rob. That's Casey. We will have a lot more Charlie Kirk thoughts, commentary, etc. coming up throughout the course of the program today, including an interview. I'd totally forgotten this, and I felt horrible afterwards. That and my wife reminded me I'd interviewed Charlie Kirk three and a half years ago now, and so we will actually play that interview for you. He was here in Indianapolis for Central Indiana for an event, and but obviously today, normally on this day, we spend a great deal of time talking about arguably the most significant event in American history, the tragedy of the mass calamity, destruction, lives lost that was that was 9/11, Casey.
Yeah, Governor Braun has ordered all flags in Indiana to be flown at half-staff today from sunrise to sunset in remembrance of the 9/11 victims, nearly 3,000 people who lost their lives. And the flag lowering is also to honor first responders and people who risked or gave their lives in rescue efforts. He has encouraged all homes and businesses in Indiana to lower their flags in solidarity. He called the attacks an unspeakable tragedy.
Okay, so there's always so many. Somebody told me this years ago. I was very young and new in the radio business, and this was a couple years after 9/11. In fact, it was when the space shuttle exploded, and it was in the aftermath of that. And this person was a longtime radio veteran, and they said, you will earn your money on days where things happen that you never see coming. And obviously, to this extent, it's, he said, how you deal with these things as a professional will be how people kind of judge you all in all as a broadcaster. And obviously, we're dealing that with Charlie Kirk. But he also said to me, because we were talking about different tragedies in American history. It was after the space shuttle explosion. He said, when things like the space shuttle explosion, or on a much greater scale, 9/11, because the amount of people impacted happened, no individual can understand the calamity of that unless they are directly impacted by it. You can't even begin to and this always stood with me. He said, you can't even begin to understand, no matter how many tributes you pay or how much you read about it or how much you interview people who are impacted by it, you can't even begin to understand the magnitude of it unless you were directly impacted by it. And I still think about that all these years later, that is absolutely right. In times of national tragedy, certainly to something level of 9/11, 20 plus years later, almost 25 years on, I still don't think we've even scratched the surface on what a horrific event that was.
There were so many people that were directly impacted, but I would say the entire country was directly impacted that day. In some way, your life changed.
Yeah, your life changed. Absolutely.
In that moment.
And America never recovered, by and large. You look at the terrorists really won that day in the sense of not just the calamity they inflicted, but the way our entire society changed and our system of governance, how it changed, and the things we began to accept in terms of changing our American way of life and the surveillance state and the money that is spent. And you look at the national debt. I bet if I do this, give me just a second here. I bet we will be blown away what the national debt was in 2001 compared to what it is today. And all of these things were the desires of the terrorist, so much more than just beyond how much damage can we inflict on that day. And by that standard, it was a very successful day for them. But, and we'll talk about this throughout the course of our program today, we seem to forget sometimes, or it's easy to forget, I should say, all the people that showed the best of what America was on that day. By the way, you want to take a guess in 2001 what the national debt was, Casey?
Oh, my goodness. 10 trillion.
$5,807 billion. Think about that. In 25 years, we have gone up over roughly 6 times our national debt in the first 25 years. Our national debt in 25 years has increased 6 times what it did in the first 225 years of the country. And it all started the out of control spending, the deficits, the ill-begotten wars, all this stuff started around 9/11. So that little detour aside, one of the things that should never be forgotten, though, is while the government has made serious mistakes, our country has made serious mistakes, the country was dramatically impacted, 9/11 still showed the best of who we are as humans because it showcased all of the people who were willing to give of themselves, including and including their own lives, so that others might live.
Well, it definitely showed unity and faith that helped the nation persevere through that time. And since then, I think about that often. There's an entire generation of people, the kids that were born near September 11th, 2001, they're turning 25 right now. And on the eve of an event that they don't even remember, it's still commemorated every year. And then on the eve of that event, a national tragic event happened yesterday. And it makes my heart just hurt for Gen Z when I think about that.
Yeah. I mean, it's so again, we'll throughout the course of the show today. And again, if you're just joining us, Kendall Casey Show, I'm Rob. That's Casey. We're just feeling our way through it today. We kind of threw the template and everything out the window, just because with the horrible assassination of Charlie Kirk, we knew we were going to try to spend a lot of time on that. And then obviously the anniversary of 9/11, which we had planned to commemorate. We're getting through it together. We thank you for joining us and being a part of us. What do you want to get into next? Any idea? We'll figure it out during the break. That's what we'll do.
Next steps. It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, remembering September 11th, and reminding each other that we've got each other. That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
Central Indiana knows tough, but your water shouldn't be. Indiana ranks among the hardest water in the country, and your home is paying the price. Connecticut's non-electric technology means no timer, settings, or headaches. Just water that works, even when the power doesn't. And the twin tank design means clean, soft water 24/7. Connecticut water softeners are the solution, made in the U.S. Visit ConnecticutIndy.com and mention Made in the U.S. for an additional $250 off your purchase of a softener. Connecticut, American-made, Midwest tough.
At Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center, you'll talk with an oncologist within 48 hours of your diagnosis, so you won't have to wait to start finding answers.
They got me in pretty quickly to meet my team. They gave me the plan and what they knew and what they wanted to do. I was really impressed with the care team and the approach they took.
Learn more about Community MD Anderson at ecommunity.com/cancer.
Listen up, football fans. You won't want to miss this.
Right now, new Bet365 customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets, win or lose. So you could turn that $300 into something bigger when you bet on money lines, spread, totals, player props.
$300 in bonus bets when new customers bet $5. I know where I'm going to bet from now on. Download the app today and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Indiana. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
Truck drivers and owner-operators, there's never been a better time to team up at Schneider. We have more team-friendly loads than ever, including express delivery parcel freight that offers great miles with no delays to keep the wheels turning. Plus, for a limited time, company team drivers may be eligible for a sign-on bonus of up to $16,000. Owner-operator teams may qualify for a $10,000 incentive. Explore team driver positions at SchneiderJobs.com and search team contracting jobs at SchneiderOwneroperators.com.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. You can say goodbye to cracked, stained, and dirty old floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out the color. Upgrade your home today by calling Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. And they come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. The phone number, 877-417-0635. You can find them online, too. GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com.
So, where's the lake?
Not here.
But it says Great Lakes Honda of Fishers.
Right. I just don't see a lake.
Well, who needs a lake when you can lease a 2025 Accord SE for $329 a month and $0 down?
That definitely won't soak our bank account.
Oh, it's the old Honda of Fishers.
Great Lakes, great people, great cars.
But no actual lake. Visit our showroom off State Road 37 today. Tax and title fees not included with approved credit through Honda Financial. In-stock new Hondas only. Not combinable with other offers. Loyalty or conquest rebates may apply. Offer ends September 30th. See dealer for details.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks VapoStick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
Make this Christmas unforgettable with Trans-Siberian Orchestra, live in concert, presenting The Ghost of Christmas Eve, the best of TSO and more. A fusion of rock and classical with a heartwarming Christmas tale. December 4th, Cambridge Fieldhouse. Reserve seats on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster. Don't miss this season's most exciting concert experience. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, live in concert.
Snap it. Send it. Hear it. Your photos, your video, your voice on WIBC. Join the text club by texting WIBC to 317-239-9393.
Joke's on me, it's gonna be okay. If I can just get through this lonesome day.
All right, it's Kendall Casey show. I'm Rob. Casey's here. A lot of commentary on Charlie Kirk today, 9/11 anniversary, but a bunch of stuff going on with the state that'll affect you, and we're doing our best to hit all of it. Coming up next hour, we're going to play you that interview, and I freely admit I'd totally forgotten about this, that I'd actually interviewed Charlie Kirk several years ago and went back in the archives. The internet's an amazing thing, Casey. Because my wife was on with Hammer and Nigel talking about last night. She goes, you remember that you interviewed Charlie Kirk? And I was like, no. And she goes, oh, yeah, it was such and such. And I said, oh, that's right.
Yeah, and you were able to go back and look at the pictures to find the date.
And it's no way in any way to be disrespectful of him or anything. It's just, we interview so many people. You interview a president or whatever. That, when I interviewed Trump, obviously, you remember something like that. But it's just, out of sight, out of mind. And I said, well, man, I don't even remember what season that was, what date. She goes, hang on. And she gets in her phone and starts scrolling through her photos, and like a minute later she's like, okay, it was like May the 25th or 26th. And so I was like, okay, I'll go back and just start scouring our archives from that day, and within a couple minutes found, the internet's an amazing
you were able to find
an amazing thing. Yeah. So we'll play that for you. Top of next hour. Is kind of neat to go back and be able to listen to that conversation, and I think you guys would enjoy it. It gives you some real insight into Charlie Kirk and how he sort of became Charlie Kirk, and so we'll play that for you top of next hour. But in the meantime, there's a big battle that rages on involving the utility companies.
Yeah, the rate increases.
They are out for blood as it comes to a never-ending quest to suck as much of your money each month as they possibly can. And now the Indiana Office of Utility Consumer Counselor, the new one, there's a brand new one, Abby Gray is her name, has issued a scathing rebuke in AES's attempt to raise consumer rates, not only fighting the rate increase, but now, and I've never seen this before, and I've watched this stuff for a long time. She is actually asking the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission, who oversees rate increases, not only to reject the rate increase, but to repeal some of the previous increases.
Right.
So
to cut the monthly customer charge.
Yeah. So
that's actually good news. Whether it will happen or not, to be determined.
Yeah, so let's explain to everybody how your utility bill works just very quickly here. So I know many long-time listeners do, but the utility is a monopoly. Your electric company is a monopoly. You can't shop it. You have to use them. And they set whatever rate they want with approval of this government entity, the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission. They're an appointed body by the governor, and there is an advocate for us, the consumer, and that's the Indiana Office of Utility Consumer Counselor. Abby Gray is her name. She's brand new, but that person doesn't have any actual power. They make a case. It's like an attorney making a case. The IURC is the judge, jury, and executioner. And in the past, they have been it seems like regularly ignored the consumer counselor's request to not raise rates in the order in which it's been received. And now the governor has came out and said, which is very weird, he signed legislation that will definitely raise people's utility rates over time. But yet now he claims to be very concerned about the raising of rates, and he's instructed this new counselor, this consumer counselor, to put the pedal to the metal. He said he's going to change the IURC board with the focus on not raising rates, and this appears maybe to be the opening salvo, for lack of a better term, in that, because it appears to be a new tenor and tone in dealing with these utility companies.
AES Indiana, they're seeking a $193 million base rate increase. And this in less than 14 months after a previous rate increase was approved. But now this counselor, Abby Gray, she's denying the request and instead proposing a $20 million rate reduction. And one of the key proposals is to cut monthly customer charge from $17 to $11.25. The interesting thing about this, it was revealed that they have 105 phantom hires.
Yeah.
These are just unfilled, vacant roles. The AES is saying, well, we've got these openings here. We want to hire these people. That's why we need the rate increase. And Abby Gray is saying in her review, wait a minute, you've had these open for years and you're never filling them. It almost sounds like it's just an excuse for rate increase.
They got 6,800 written comments because AES is going for this rate increase, 6,800 comments. And we talk about this quite a bit on this program, that the government never seems to be on our side. The government always seems to be on the side of whatever special interest is coming before them. And it usually means that the people get screwed in that process. And you're really reaching, for some people, a point of no return on these utility bills, especially when you couple them with the never-ending property tax increases, the gas tax increases. You are pricing a lot of senior citizens, a lot of fixed-income people out of the affordability of living, and hopefully it's reached a tipping point where they've said enough is enough, and the IURC will step in and do what's right. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk a lot more about Charlie Kirk. We'll play this interview I did with him several years ago. We'll get into that and more.
It's Kendall Casey on 93 WIBC.
Through this lonesome day, lonesome day.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten, classics are remixed, bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
Of all the times to buy new Lincoln, right now is the very best time at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get 0% APR for up to 48 months on 2025 Lincoln Corsair, Nautilus, or Aviator. Plus get a $1,000 Tom Roush Trade Assist bonus. So come get that new Lincoln from Tom Roush Lincoln, where our family's been serving yours for over 53 years.
36-month, 10,000-mile per year lease, 2,500 due at signing. No security deposit required. All offers subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details. Ends 9/30/25.
Hi, I'm Dustin, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As director of diamond sourcing, it's my job to make sure every single diamond is worthy of a Shane Company engagement ring. Our team travels the world to see diamonds in person and handpick each one. That type of dedication only comes from working for a company that's been a family business since 1929. No matter your budget, your diamond is guaranteed to be the most beautiful because a friend wants you to pick from only the best. Drop by your store or shaneco.com and see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
The IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship is back at the racing capital of the world. This sports car racing event, September 19th through 21st, is different than anything you've seen at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Sunday the 21st, it's the TireRack.com Battle on the Bricks. And now the race runs 6 hours. The paddock is open for fans all weekend long. Infield camping opportunities make this a can't-miss weekend. Kids 15 and under are free with a paid adult. Get your tickets at IMS.com.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She can get a deal. Book telehealth if she feels.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
Are you ready for the biggest boat and RV sale of the year? The 36th Annual Indianapolis Fall Boat and RV Show. 3 days of blowout clearance pricing at the Indiana State Fairgrounds September 19th through 21st. But it's not a show. A sale. For 3 days only, shop over 5 acres of new and used boats and RVs. And this year, we're in the new air-conditioned pavilion. If you don't buy here, you'll pay too much. Dealers are liquidating their inventories, and after Sunday, they're gone forever. The 36th Annual Indianapolis Fall Boat and RV Show. Save time and buy tickets at IndySportShow.com. Another Renfro production.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recycler Studios, what information the FBI is releasing this hour about the Charlie Kirk assassination in Utah and how the nation's leaders and some local leaders are taking the news. Plus, what police got themselves into in Lawrence yesterday, and the Fever are now waiting for their first-round opponent in the WNBA playoffs, which start on Sunday. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
Still trying to track down Charlie Kirk's assassin. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Any attack on the First Amendment is an attack on the very foundation of our democracy.
FBI Special Agent in Charge Robert Bowles in Utah says they recovered a rifle discarded in a wooded area.
Investigators have also collected footwear impression, a palm print, and forearm imprints for analysis.
And he says they keep following up on more than 100 tips. Utah Public Safety Commissioner Bo Mason says they do have images of the gunman and...
After the shooting, we were able to track his movements as he moved to the other side of the building, jumped off of the building, and fled off of the campus and into a neighborhood.
Charlie Kirk was a conservative activist, famous for debating students on college campuses, and was shot while addressing a crowd at Utah Valley University. President Trump calls him a martyr.
Charlie was a giant of his generation, a champion of liberty, and an inspiration to millions and millions of people.
And the president just announced he'll honor Kirk posthumously with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, announcing that at a ceremony at the Pentagon.
And today, as one nation, we renew our sacred vow that we will never forget September 11th, 2001.
The Pentagon was the third target hit by terrorists in a hijacked plane. Now, there's also a ceremony at Ground Zero in New York City. Those bells mark the exact times the first two hijacked planes hit the Twin Towers and then both collapsed, as they also honor the victims.
Terrence Andre Aiken.
Reading the names of all the nearly 3,000 people killed in the terror attack, including the ones on United Flight 93, where passengers fought back and the plane crashed into a Pennsylvania field. Inflation rose last month more than expected. The Consumer Price Index increased 0.4%. We also found out this morning the annual rate of inflation also rose up to 2.9% from August of 2024. Yet, on Wall Street, stocks are rising. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
New information from the FBI. We've got a partly cloudy sky, 70 in the Circle City, the high around 84 today. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 10:02. New information this hour from the FBI in Utah about the horrific killing of conservative speaker Charlie Kirk on the campus of Utah Valley University. They say they have good footage of a college-age man who they think assassinated Kirk.
We are confident in our abilities to track that individual. If we're unsuccessful in identifying them immediately, we will reach out for the public's help and the media's help in pushing those photos. That was a new development overnight, working through the night, studying those cameras.
The FBI also announcing they have recovered the weapon used in the shooting, a high-powered bolt-action rifle. President Donald Trump, who was close to Charlie, delivered a message from the Oval Office last night.
He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there's never been anyone who was so respected by youth.
Kirk was the co-founder of Turning Point USA and a devout Christian.
Charlie was also a man of deep, deep faith. And we take comfort in the knowledge that he is now at peace with God in heaven.
Indiana leaders like Senators Jim Banks and Todd Young said they are praying for the family. Kirk leaves behind a wife and 2 children. Lawrence police officers shooting a man on the northeast side of Indianapolis Wednesday afternoon. Lawrence Deputy Police Chief Travis Klein says they were called to a group home and found a man there wielding a knife.
As the officers were trying to de-escalate the situation, the man charged at the officer, still armed with the knife, and he was shot by the responding officer.
That man was taken to a hospital in critical condition. No update as of this morning. The Indiana Fever are still in a holding pattern on who their first-round opponent will be in the WNBA playoffs. Head coach Stephanie White reflecting on the team's finish to the regular season.
Every game is a back-against-the-wall game now, and being able to put some consistency together. I've been pleased with what we've been able to do over these last 3 games.
And tonight is the final night of the regular season for remaining WNBA teams. The playoffs begin on Sunday. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level on the go and at WIBC.com. Kendall and Casey back in 1 minute.
It's football season. The air is crisp, the stakes are high, and every winning team has one thing in common: a solid game plan. The same goes for retirement. You need a clear strategy, smart play calling, and a team who knows the field. At Howard Bailey Financial, we help you prepare for the long game, anticipating challenges, protecting your lead, and calling the right plays when it matters most. Because, let's face it, retirement isn't a pickup game. It's the championship round, and you don't want to wing it. Get off the sidelines and into the huddle. Text PLAY to 888-494-5004 to download your free retirement toolkit. That's PLAY to 888-494-5004. Howard Bailey Financial, because every great retirement deserves a game-winning drive. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. See disclosures at howardbailey.com.
This hour is powered by Miss M's Home and Garden, Johnson County's fall nursery headquarters.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
You know, one of the things I've struggled with over the past... I mean, by the way, it's Kendall Casey show. I'm Rob. That's Casey. Spending a lot of our show today talking about Charlie Kirk. I was driving to an event to meet a friend, and this must have been, I don't know, 2:45 in the afternoon. And Hammer texts me, and he says Charlie Kirk's been shot. And it's like one of those things where you look at it, and you're going, that can't be right. I thought, who knows what he meant to say or, whatever. And I was just like, what? And then he sent me the tweets that were out there.
Right.
And you don't even, it's like, this thing's like, that can't even be true. This has to be AI. Somebody's playing a horrible joke, whatever. Because I'm sitting here and in my mind, I'm like processing while I'm seeing this. Why would somebody shoot this guy? He doesn't have any authority over anyone. Nobody has to consume him. Like somebody was just screaming at me on Facebook again. It's a day that ends in Y about what a rotten person I am or my ego or whatever. And I always say the same thing. Great. Turn off the radio.
Stop consuming.
Put me on mute. And I don't exist.
Yeah.
But we all know you won't do that. And so, I'm thinking of this as I'm driving, why would somebody shoot a guy who doesn't have any... it's obviously never okay to shoot anyone. But the politicians are the people with all the power. This guy just merely existed, and in order to know he was there, you had to find him, and yet some deranged person was so offended by his mere existence that they committed this heinous act.
Yeah, I received the news from Jim. He texted me, which is a surprise.
Jim is your husband.
My husband,
Yes.
because normally I'm the one who knows what's going on before he does. And he always, he'll bring something up, and I'll say, yeah, you're right. And so right away, I went to look up the news. And what is the state of media now when you see that video being played over and over, and it's all over your feed, and it's horrendous, and it's awful.
Well, you hit on an interesting point, which is, think about previous high-profile assassinations, right? The Kennedy assassination is obviously the one that's in the grain in everybody's mind. There's basically a video of it.
There's one angle. And with this assassination of Charlie Kirk, there were cell phones everywhere.
Right? And
in 4K.
I did think about that. That's so good that you brought that up, because I was thinking, like, okay, obviously it's a massive news event, and this is evidence potentially in the commission of a crime.
Mm-hmm.
But after you've seen a guy get shot once, isn't that enough? And it seemed like, oh, here's another angle. Here's another. It's like, why? Why do we need to see that? Why do we? And it's, it's so, we lose track of, or the public loses track of the sight that he's a human being. Mm-hmm. Like, we think of like celebrities as a celebrity, but you realize like they're human beings. And he was a father. He was a husband. I guarantee if you asked him about it to list his jobs or things he was most proud of, those would have been way ahead of whatever media career he had organized. But we have now escalated the hatred in this country to the point where your mere existence, not power over anybody, not ability to affect anybody's life, not the ability to make anybody do anything, your mere existence in space is enough to get you killed.
There's been a lot of comparisons to Martin Luther King Jr. and the assassination of him, of course, a civil rights leader. Part of me last night, and you may find this silly, but part of me last night was thinking that in a way it's similar to the death of Princess Diana, because I didn't know Charlie Kirk. I never met Charlie Kirk. However, he entered my life in a way through social media, like she had done through magazines. And I was very much aware of his existence. But it affected me in a way that many people were affected by her death. They didn't know her. She was a stranger. Many people didn't agree with her or what her life stood for. Same thing is similar with Charlie Kirk, that I was crying last night, as many people were. But I didn't even know him.
Don't you think part of that's, though, because it hits so close to home? Because you're in the free speech business, too.
Well, yeah.
I mean, like, I'm not in any way trying to...
to say, how does this affect me?
No, and I don't think you're doing that. I'm saying that for people like us, this hits so close to home,
mm-hmm.
because not only are we in the free speech game, we're in the push the envelope. Well, Casey is the voice of light on this program. She is sadly partnered with the person who is in the push the envelope game as it relates to the politicians. And we do this, and I'll say something real quick, and then I want to play this interview we did with Charlie Kirk. We talked about this the other day. I push the envelope the way I do because I love you, the audience. I do the radio show that I think you deserve. I speak in the voice that I know you speak with because I hear from you, but you don't have the platform to do it. And our politicians, many of them, are malicious, rotten, corrupt people who are abusing you to benefit themselves. And I have taken from the moment I got here with great responsibility and great honor to be that voice. And this is the only way that I know how to go because I love you that much. And one of the things I do each night, we've talked about this before, is I write a journal entry to my daughter. Every day since the day we found out she was a girl. So for basically, 2.5 years now, I've done a daily entry of something, either about her life or thoughts of things that are going on in the world and how they may affect her life. And one of the things that I've written to her is a whole bunch about why I do what I do. And I want her to understand that, because there may come a day, someday, where she'll look up her dad on the internet. And there's going to be all sorts of opinions about her dad on the internet,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I want her to have writings in the moment so that she will always know. And I hope I live a very long, prosperous life and have many years with her. But in case I don't, for some reason, I want her to know, here's who your father was. Here's exactly what he stood for. Here's why he did what he did. And here's how much he loved you, and the people that he loved were the reason that he did that. And I'm sure Charlie Kirk's kids will know that. They will know who their dad was, why he did, what he stood for. All right, so we're going to run a little long in this segment, but my lovely wife had pointed out to me, and I'd totally forgotten this, that I had actually interviewed Charlie Kirk in May of 22, and we went back and found it. And here is that it's a short, about 7-minute conversation I had with Charlie Kirk back when he was in Central Indiana for an event in May of 22. I'm amazed at what you have built and how you have done it. And this may be a really simple, stupid question, but that's what we do a lot in talk radio. We ask simple, stupid questions. How did you become you? How did you do this?
Well, that's an interesting question. Grew up in the suburbs of Chicago. I was going to go to West Point. Didn't get in. Ended up being the best thing that never happened to me. And decided to take a gap year. It's now been a gap decade where now I've had 10 years off of college. And so it's the great irony of the whole thing. I run a college organization without going to college myself, which actually makes me the best and worst person to talk about college and its problems. But I've visited my fair share of colleges, over 150 schools all across the country. From Maine to Stanford, I've spoken from University of Hawaii, actually, an event there. And so we also have obviously a very significant campus presence at Turning Point USA that gives me an insight of what's happening. But look, I gave my life to the Lord in 5th grade. It's the most important thing to me. I've always been a patriot. I can't stand when people take for granted this beautiful republic that we've been given. We're called to be good stewards as Christians, and boy, are we not doing that right now. We got to turn the corner on that. I've never liked bullies. I don't like tyrants, and I don't sit idly by. Well, I'm not really a spectator guy, so I try to get into the arena to do what is necessary and to do what is needed. And so that's where we're at right now. And it's just been an amazing decade. Our 10-year anniversary is coming up on June 5th, praise God. And so every day we're working to keep on growing the footprint of Turning Point USA, maximizing our cultural influence. And yeah, I'm just a small part of it. It's our staff, it's our donors, it's our board members. Over 100,000 people financially contribute to Turning Point USA. It's an extraordinary funding base we have in every corner of the country, all 50 states represented. So I am who I am thanks to the people that have supported me and thanks to, the incredible blessing of the Lord.
Yeah, man, but I mean, it's pretty cool to be you, right? Like if I show up to speak somewhere, there's 8 people, most of them probably wandered in for a free cup of soup or something. You speak and there's hundreds of thousands of people every time you go somewhere. That's a pretty cool existence.
It's awesome. It's a lot of pressure. It really is. And, I remember the years where I remember I spoke in an Indiana event, I think in Greencastle, Indiana.
Yeah, Greencastle.
Way back when. Yeah, good folks out there. And I think there were 5 people, and I knew 4 of them. So
there's hope. That's what you're telling me. I have hope.
Yes, it's been a journey, and I don't deserve it. And it puts a lot of pressure on you. I love it. I'm not complaining. Trust me, that's not. But it definitely, there's a wrinkle to that where, higher stakes, you got to be more precise with your language, and you got all sorts of fun stuff. But yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I got to wake up every single day. And 10 years ago, I was in high school just dreaming of this. And now we have an organization and a radio show and a podcast and all the digital social media stuff. Only in America.
Yeah.
Is that possible? No other country could you do something like that.
Before we let you go, and Charlie Kirk is our guest from Turning Point USA, people are hearing your voice right now, and WIBC is arguably the most powerful media entity in the entire state. You motivate people every day. People are hearing this going, man, I need to get involved. Man, I need to do something. What should people do? What are those initial steps for people who know they want to do something, know they want to help, but have no idea where to begin, how to begin? What should they be doing?
So we talked a little bit about this with Micah. You got to commit to learning about your country, learning about your rights, learning about what's happening at the WHO, the World Economic Forum, kind of educating yourself on all the different issues at hand. You got to be a lifelong learner. Number 2, you got to commit to courage. That's something that is easier said than done. Courage is doing the right thing when you do not know how it's going to work out. And the third thing is we got to build new stuff. We need more businesses. We need bigger churches. We need bigger families. I'm a builder. It's what I enjoy doing. I enjoy taking risks and thinking of new things. As a conservative movement, we've kind of been in this managed decline. I can't stand it. I want us to, kind of in some ways embrace the spirit of Elon Musk. Look, Elon's far from a conservative, and I disagree with him on plenty of things. But boy, does he inspire me to try to take big risks, stand up to bullies, and create new stuff ambitiously. And I think the conservative movement could use some of that energy, where we're going to start new products. We're going to empower new entrepreneurs. That's, I think, a longer-term, more optimistic, positive solution that I think is really going to benefit all of us that love the Lord and love liberty and want to save the country. So those are three things we could do. And also just the fourth thing is, and I'm a big believer in attitude. I don't care if you know all the facts. I don't care where you went to college. The most important thing when I meet somebody or someone asks me a question is their attitude. You could tell it by their body posture. You could tell it by their word choice. Do you have an attitude where you think things can get better? Not that they will, but can they? Do you have an attitude where you're going to be a problem solver or just a complainer? I hate complainers. I hate cynics. It drives me nuts. We got lots of them in our movement, by the way. Have an attitude of optimism. Have an attitude of positive action. And I think all of a sudden things are going to start falling into place in a very, very meaningful way.
Before we let you go, if people want to learn more about Turning Point USA, if they love what they heard today, which every time people hear you, they do love what you say and what you the message you bring, how can people learn more about that?
Super easy to go to tpusa.com. We have a giveaway right now, a gift of any amount. You guys get my latest book, small little booklet, The Conservative Response to the Great Reset, which I think every person in Indiana should learn about that because your governor incredibly went to the World Economic Forum, which was just insane. So you should all know what he's supporting when he goes there, which is no private property, the destruction of America, and the destruction of the West. Besides that, they're all great people. So you can go to tpusa.com for a gift of any amount and learn what's happening with the Great Reset and what we could do in response to that. And then if they want to subscribe to the Charlie Kirk Show podcast, take out your podcast app, type in Charlie Kirk Show, and just keep fighting, everybody. Great radio station. You guys have a great reputation, by the way. You really do.
Charlie Kirk of Turning Point USA. Thank you, my friend. Keep up the good work.
Thanks. God bless. Talk to you soon. Okay.
I was trying to figure out where to cut that, and then he dumped on Holcomb at the end. I was like, I gotta leave that. I can't do it.
I think it was nice, just the entirety.
Yeah. All right. That was our interview with Charlie Kirk back in 2022. All right, let's take a break. Nikki Kelly from the Capitol Chronicle going to join us next. We'll get into their big expose on Jennifer Ruth Green and her resignation. We'll talk about the fight against the utility bill increases and that big super secret caucus the Republicans had yesterday about redistricting.
Nikki Kelly joins us next on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
The state of Texas can require voter ID for mail-in ballots.
It's not required already.
But Joe Biden got 82 million legal votes, Nigel. If you think otherwise, you might as well put the tinfoil hat on, okay? I don't think it's asking too much to have some sort of proof that you're a legal citizen in your mail-in ballot. Find a way.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
I will never forget the day we found out my brother needed a heart transplant. Sure, you hear about people needing an organ sometimes, but it doesn't feel real until you're the one waiting. I tell you, we're just thankful. God answered our prayers. But my brother wouldn't be alive today without that transplant. That's why I signed up to be an organ donor at the BMV, because I want to be the answer to someone else's prayers.
Sign up to be an organ donor. Say yes the next time you're at the BMV.
Grown-ups, don't go back to school. Go forward through school into your future as an IT professional. Whether you're starting out, switching careers, or a veteran ready for change, My Computer Career can help you get into IT in just a few short months with no prior experience. So take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Your rewarding career in IT awaits. That's mycomputercareer.edu. An elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the VA benefits.
You're great at protecting your data, but lots of places could still expose you to identity theft.
I thought it was safe.
If that happens, LifeLock gives you a U.S.-based restoration agent who will stick by your side from start to finish. Phone calls, filing documentation, preparing insurance claims, your agent handles it all. In fact, we're so confident restoration is guaranteed or your money back. Isn't it nice to have someone like that on your side? Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Call today or go to bwindow.com and receive up to 50% off plus a free patio door.
Because at B-Window,
we mean business.
It is the Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob. Casey's here. Obviously, a lot of look at national events today, but a lot of stuff going on here close to home. Let's find out what exactly is going on with one of the best in the business. Her name is Nikki Kelly from the Indiana Capital Chronicle. Nikki Kelly joins us now on the WIBC hotline. Nikki Kelly, hello.
Good morning.
All right, so you guys had an excellent piece the other day on what exactly went down with Jennifer Ruth Green. A whole bunch of allegations, an Inspector General's report. Of course, Jennifer Ruth Green, as we've laid out, the now former public safety secretary, former congressional candidate as well. Basically, it appears voluntold her time was up in the Braun administration. Tell us about the piece.
Yeah, well, obviously, over the weekend, when I was alerted that she had resigned, there were questions about why, and so we kept talking to sources and finally got a hold of an agreement that she signed in July, a remediation agreement that laid out all the allegations that the Inspector General was looking into and basically giving her some things she had to do to keep her job in the meantime while they were waiting for that investigation to conclude.
So you've been around this business a long time. I think the first red flag, right, was that she went out on a Friday afternoon because nothing really good ever comes out on a Friday afternoon.
Yeah, Fridays aren't great. And also that, they didn't say it on their own. Only when I tweeted on Saturday that I had heard a major cabinet-level resignation did they confirm it late on a Saturday night. So you could tell right away that that just wasn't normal course. So it was clear something was going on, and we could find out sort of the next step in the process today because there's an ethics commission meeting that we don't know if it's about her, but there is a section on the agenda in the executive session about a person's alleged misconduct, and I think the timing would indicate that they might be related.
Yeah, so obviously we put this out on Monday, and I was told by several birdies that you guys were working on this, and I said, well, if they've got it, they'll fill in all the details. So thanks for doing all the work so we could just say that it was going on. I'm curious how you guys go about putting something like this together because it's so detail-oriented in a report like this. How do you do that so fast?
Just a lot of phone calls, and honestly, in this case, these investigations are private. Like the Inspector General is not going to confirm them. We knew that. We went through personnel. They weren't confirming anything. We had a good source who was able to provide us that agreement. Without that, it would have been very difficult to get at, especially without using unnamed sources, which our company's policy is not to use. So we really needed something concrete to be able to go with it.
Nikki Kelly from the Indiana Capital Chronicle, our guest. We're talking about the resignation of Jennifer Ruth Green as the public safety secretary. Okay, so she's out of the administration. You mentioned this ethics investigation, this ethics committee meeting. It could potentially be about her. What potential ramifications are still could be had for her since she's out of the administration?
Yeah, I've seen in the past, the Ethics Commission can fine people. They can also make it so that they are never allowed to be employed by the state again. That's an example that they've done in the past. So there aren't as many options, but there are still some things they can do if they find that they have probable cause to move forward with a case. And they can also refer cases for criminal prosecution if they feel it rises to that level.
Hey, Nikki, I'm curious. Governor Braun, when he made the announcement, he also said that he would have some more announcements coming up about other personnel. Do you have any idea what he was alluding to?
No, not specifically. We've seen some movement recently with Chris Lowry leaving the Commission for Higher Education. So I don't know specifically what we're expecting from him, but obviously within the first year of your organization, it doesn't look great to have people leaving.
Nikki Kelly from the Indiana Capital Chronicle is our guest. All right, obviously a lot of national attention yesterday with the assassination of Charlie Kirk, but state business did continue to go on here in Indiana. And there was a big announcement yesterday by the head, basically representative or spokesperson or advocate for ratepayers as it relates to utilities. The Indiana Office of Utilities Consumer Counselor went Wednesday very hard at AES, not only asking the IURC, the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission, to deny their rate increase request, but also asking them to essentially make AES charge less to their customers.
Yeah, that's the significant part of that. The OUCC, the Utility Consumer Counselor, regularly comes out against rate increases in these options. But for them to go the next level to say, not only do they not deserve the increase they've asked for, but we think they're already charging rates that are too high, and they give specific examples of why. And so that was, I think, a pretty significant change in what I've seen in the past. And now we'll have to see. Obviously, AES could respond, and then ultimately it'll be up to the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission. But it was a pretty hard hitting, suggestion or recommendation.
Have you ever seen that before, where they say, hey, not only is this rate increase ridiculous, you guys should be charging less? Has that happened before?
Not off the top of my head. I mean, obviously there are tons of rate increases going on for decades, so I can't say it's never happened, but I haven't seen it in the top of my head. And one example I'll give that they found in their proposal was that there were like more than 100 staff positions that have been chronically vacant for years at AES. And every year they say, well, we need the money because we're going to fill those positions. But every year there's still like 100 chronically vacant spots, which means, someone's just pocketing the money, right?
Nikki Kelly from the Indiana Capitol Chronicles, our guest.
At what point do you think the consumer will see any adjustment, if there is any?
Well, we're pretty far away. I think the final hearing is November, and then they have to take a vote. So, I mean, we're a couple months away, maybe next year.
Do you think this is, because Braun has now said, well, this is a priority for me. Never mind, he did a bunch of stuff this session that will likely raise utility rates. But he said this is a priority for me. Do you think with her saying, well, you guys are paying too much, this is some sort of opening salvo, for lack of a better term, to these utility companies going, okay, if you guys come for these rate increases in the near future, not only are we going to fight that, but now we're going to try to get the rates lowered? Like, I'm with you, I've never seen this before.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're trying to set a tone, and, this was the first rate case up, and so this is the one, that's currently in the middle of the process and getting the attention, and so they definitely did that on purpose to, like you said, a salvo or warning to other utilities who might be coming forward with requests.
A couple of minutes left here with Nikki Kelly from the Capitol Chronicle. As we said, even though a lot of national events going on, state business continued. A lot of important stuff, in fact, going on yesterday. The other big one was that Republican senators met in a closed-door caucus about redistricting. I know you were on the story as well as Whitney Downard. You guys tried to get comment from these senators as they came out. They were pretty close-lipped on everything.
Yeah, no one was talking yesterday. I mean, they were always very polite when they declined, but no one was talking. They met for more than 2 hours. And I know going in, I had heard there were several Senate Republicans who were going to oppose redistricting in that caucus. But, they've definitely closed ranks in terms of what happened in that room.
And you tweeted this out, so I'll bring it up with you. One of the things that is so silly about all of this, and obviously we've spent much of our day-to-day talking about the tragic assassination of Charlie Kirk, and it's horrible. But the idea that a guy like Jim Lucas, state representative, who was adamantly against this, then would just come out and go, well, now I'm for it. I mean, it just shows to me, Nikki, the whole silliness and unseriousness of this, that while his assassination is horrible, you can't be crafting public policy if you've already said, hey, this is bad for our state, as Jim Lucas has repeatedly said, or bad for my constituents, and then because some guy tragically dies, then you go, well, I've changed my mind now. I mean, it just seems like the whole thing is ridiculous to me.
It was an interesting tweet, and that's why I sent it out. Now, to be fair, Jim Lucas was adamantly opposed in the beginning, and in fact said why on a Charlie Kirk post when Charlie was pushing it. Then, after the White House meeting, he did come out and say, hey, look, my mind is more open now. I haven't made a decision, but I definitely learned some things. And now, as of after the Charlie Kirk assassination, he says he is all in, got to redistrict, and so he seems to have completely done the 180 at this point.
I took that as an emotional response, Nikki. And do you think, is that a good place to start when it comes to crafting policy, or should we always remain logical on things?
Well, I mean, obviously I don't think it's, I don't know. I mean, that's up to him. It probably is an emotional response, but as long as he can back it up with factual reasons, I guess that's his prerogative. And we'll probably hear more in the coming weeks. I know House Republicans are caucusing on Friday, tomorrow, about this issue again, and so hopefully we'll get some movement forward instead of this sort of wait-and-see approach we've been in for now more than a month.
Nikki Kelly, one of the best, man. They've got so much great stuff going on right now at the Indiana Capitol Chronicle. Find them over at indianacapitalchronicle.com. Great job on that Jennifer Ruth Green piece, and great job on all the stuff you guys do. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, you're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
The FBI providing an update. Partly cloudy skies, 71 in downtown Indy. The high today will be 84. I'm Jarrett Lewis. The FBI is reporting that they have recovered a high-powered bolt-action rifle they believe was used in the assassination of conservative activist and Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University, where he was kicking off his American Comeback Tour. They also have footage of the suspected shooter.
The suspect blended in well with a college institution. And we're not releasing many details right now, and we will soon, but right now we're not. But that individual appears to be of college age.
That person was also wearing dark clothing, according to the FBI in Utah. Members of Congress are sharing their thoughts to Kirk's death. Florida Congressman Byron Donalds tells Fox's The Ingram Angle, Americans need to respect each other's opposing views.
You disagree with somebody, fine, I get it. But people want to go home to their families, Laura. I want to go home to mine. Everybody wants to go home to theirs. And unfortunately, Charlie's not going to have an opportunity to go home to his wife and his kids.
President Donald Trump ordered flags be flown at half-mast to honor Kirk. He also announced that he will posthumously award Charlie Kirk the Presidential Medal of Freedom. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
As proud sports medicine partners of the Indianapolis Indians, Butler University, Purdue University, and the Indiana Sports Corporation, Franciscan Health is here to keep our community moving. Whether you're a weekend warrior or high school champ, we offer injury evaluations, concussion testing, and personalized recovery plans to help you get back out there. Because when you love the game, we love getting you back in it. Call 317-781-1133 or visit franciscanhealth.org/sportsmedindy.
Transform your backyard this fall with Indy Decorative Concrete. Get a free outdoor furniture set with our best stamped concrete patio package. Create the perfect space for cozy outdoor hangouts. Hurry, this offer ends November 1st. Visit IndyDecorativeConcrete.com for details.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. For service today. Today.
Central Indiana knows tough, but your water shouldn't be. Indiana ranks among the hardest water in the country, and your home is paying the price. Connecticut's non-electric technology means no timer, settings, or headaches. Just water that works, even when the power doesn't. And the twin tank design means clean, soft water 24/7. Connecticut water softeners are the solution, made in the U.S. Visit ConnecticutIndy.com and mention Made in the U.S. for an additional $250 off your purchase of a softener. Connecticut, American-made, Midwest tough.
September the 18th, that is 1 week from today. Put it down on your calendar. There is a massive event helping out an organization that we love here on this show, and that group is Project Rescue, one of the leading groups fighting human sex trafficking across the globe. We talk about them a lot on this program. I give money to them. They do a phenomenal job. And this year, they are partnering once again with our friends at Life Church. They have a big breakfast going on at the Lucas Estates. Yes, that Lucas Estates. It's totally free to attend. So not only do you get a free breakfast, you get a free trip to the Lucas Estates. All you got to do is go to the Hope Starts Here breakfast, September 18th. That's a week from today, Thursday morning. You can get all the details. You can register online. It's a great event. lifechurchin.com.
Here's a real-life story that affects 50% of all of us out there. It's called divorce. If you've gotten divorced and now you're struggling to pay your bills and your credit card debts are completely out of control, you need to call this special debt relief hotline right now. We help people with all kinds of money problems caused by different life challenges, a divorce, a job loss, even heavy medical bills. All these life events can sometimes financially stress you out and cause you to get out of control. We help people get their lives back by showing them ways to consolidate and reduce their debt, in some cases for a fraction of what they owe. If your credit card balances are more than $10,000, call us and learn how to reduce your credit card bills and monthly payments now. Here's our number.
Paid for by Debt.com. Call now at 800-810-1820. 800-810-1820. 800-810-1820. That's 800-810-1820.
You hear that? That's Mike sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. That's because Mike was smart this time. He took ZQL Ultra to fall asleep fast, stay asleep longer, and get the deeply restorative sleep he needs. So now he wakes up refreshed and ready to conquer Mondays.
Let's do this Monday.
ZQL Ultra. Not for colds, just for sleep. Really great sleep. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
It's JMV and fall is in full swing at Miss M's Home and Garden. Locally grown mums and pumpkins plus fall annuals and decor. State Road 135 in Bargersville. MissMsHomeandGarden.com.
The Attorney General's Office, reuniting Hoosiers with over $1 million in unclaimed property every week. Visit IndianaUnclaimed.gov or text Hammer and Nigel to 46220 today.
Got a song to sing.
Ask you a question. You have no idea what I'm about to ask you.
No, I love it when you do this. You know that, right?
Look, I feel we have to pivot very quickly because you told me something during the break, and I morphed into a bad version of myself, and I've got to pivot back off this. We'll get into it next hour.
Okay.
I just need a minute to process it because I was ready to do it now. I mean, you just read to me the most stupid thing I have ever heard in my entire life, and I cannot believe this person put this out into the ether. We will get into that. I was going to do it now, and then I thought there's no way I can do the segment without making Kevin have a very nervous trigger finger on the dump button, and I need a few minutes to collect my thoughts, so we'll have to do something else.
I recommend you collect your thoughts.
We'll come, like Casey's eyes, she was like, what? And it was no way your fault.
Realize you were going to have that reaction to it.
Well, here's the problem I have.
I would have kept it from you had I known.
We had this conversation earlier. When you are the bearer of bad news to me, right? You have the grave misfortune of being the bearer of bad news. Because Kev is doing things during the break. He's not scouring the internet. You're always looking for things. And so you read me the thing, but then I always feel bad because... And it's not any different than I just have a little more colorful language sometimes, but it's not any different than I am here. But I feel bad because I'm not yelling at you.
I didn't write it.
No, and
you were.
I was
just the messenger.
But then sometimes I feel like maybe it would be better if I just looked at Kevin. But then that would be awkward because you're the one giving me the info. I feel like Kev might take it better than you do. Let's try this. You say something to me, and then I will yell at Kevin in the manner at which, just any statement, and then we will try this out on the air, and you tell me if this works. 'Cause I just feel like this would be awkward.
Okay, I'll give you a statement.
All right,
you
very
ready?
good.
Indiana's nonprofit hospitals reported more than $1 billion in profits.
$1 billion in profit. They're supposed to be a nonprofit. How'd they make $1 billion?
Yeah, that's weird.
See how weird that is?
Yeah, you got to direct it to me.
See, we tried that and it just didn't work. Hey, real quick, I do have just a very quick question, then we'll get to Hammer. The Associated Press, at what point are we no longer paying tribute to an artist? We're just exploiting them. Okay, so here is my question. The Associated Press had an article about some guy. I have no idea who this guy is, but you and Kev are up on the pop culture. Callum Scott. Do you know who that is? He's an English singer of some sort. English artist.
From One Direction?
I don't know, Kevin. I just said he's an English singer is how he's listed in the Associated Press. Seems like he's a known quantity of some sort. He's doing a duet with Whitney Houston.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because she's been dead for 13 years.
Mm-hmm. Right. So this is through the magic of AI or leftover tracks. He's just going to add his vocals on top of something that's already been produced with her on it.
They describe it as a balladic reinterpretation. Boy, you know it's a scam right there when you see the phrase balladic reinterpretation.
That's interesting.
Of the timeless I Want to Dance with Somebody.
Okay. All right.
We're using Houston's original vocal stems. Stems are the individual music elements when combined make up a song. So, aren't we just exploiting at this point?
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing like, hey, Jimi Hendrix had this album in the cooker when he had an untimely
we
death.
found the lost tapes.
Yeah, and so we put it out, a year or two after his death, right? Clearly, we're still trying to make money, but there's some,
Yeah, the Beatles did that with John Lennon.
Yes. Yeah, right. But no, well, let's face it. What was that? Real Love and what was Free as a Bird? That was a scamski too. I mean, I'm saying this person had something in the works. They were recording because they did that with the Lennon stuff where they dubbed it all together and it was 15 years after he died or whatever.
Correct.
Yeah, that was a scamski to make money. I'm saying with Hendrix, didn't they do this with Hendrix, Kevin, where there was some album that got released after his death. He was in the early 70s that he had supposedly been working on. I'm okay with that. But this guy had nothing to do with her.
No.
He wasn't some that I'm aware of.
Why is he using her voice at all? Why
to make money.
Well, why does he just release a new version of it or the remake?
Because he can't say, I mean, he's going to sell more with Callum Scott or Callum Scott featuring Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
Are you looking up that?
Yeah, I was trying to find. I've never heard of that.
Yes, there was some. I'll look it up during the break.
I never heard of that either.
Yes, I got it.
I'm not doubting you. I'm just saying I'm unfamiliar.
I got an A++ in my history of Jimi Hendrix class in college.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right. You did take a class.
104%. Now, this was 18 years ago or whatever, but I'm almost certain that there was some compilation that came out after Hendrix passed away, and I'm going to look it up during the break.
Okay.
Because you know how this file cabinet is.
I know. Pull that file
I'll
to
look
the
it up.
front.
And Hammer's supposed to be here, too. Yes.
First rays of the new rising sun.
That's it.
Yeah.
I knew it.
1997.
No. Like this came out after his, like, in the aftermath of his.
Posthumously.
I'll look it up during the break.
Okay.
And I'm going to spike the football when we come back. Plus, Hammer will be here.
It's Kendall Casey on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, remembering September 11th, and reminding each other that we've got each other. That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
This is Matt Baer. You've heard Dr. Nick Wilson on the weekend shows here on WIBC, and you've probably heard me talk about how much restructured chiropractic has helped me over the years. If you're dealing with daily headaches, constant neck tension, or that heavy tech neck by noon, your body's trying to tell you something. At Restructure, they don't just crack backs, they dig deeper to find what's stressing your nervous system and help you feel like yourself again. Right now, Dr. Wilson is offering you a full spine and nervous system assessment with his team. That includes your consultation, posture and nerve scans, x-rays if needed, and a customized natural health plan. Normally over $250. It's just $88 when you mention this ad. Restructured Chiropractic, the place I trust to get real results. Text relief to 317-749-0677. 317-749-0677. Check out more at berestructured.com.
We're constantly telling Casey she needs to get the heck out of Indianapolis, and when she sells her home, there's only one guy she's going to call. That's going to be our friend Mark Dietel. Yeah. How about that for a segue? There we go. Zillow ranks Indianapolis number 2 among 2025's hottest markets. Home values have risen and are holding strong. Now is a great time to sell. Hire the team with proven systems to maximize your equity. Sell your home with our pal Mark Dietel. Perhaps you're worried with a challenging market. You won't sell your home for the price it's worth. Mark Dietel guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Sarah in Fountain Square had to say about working with Mark Deedle. After investing in a property in Fountain Square, I ran into some financial trouble and needed to sell the place for max dollars. I hired the Mark Deedle team, and they were able to sell my property within weeks for over list price. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Deedle 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdeedle.com. That's Mark, DIETEL.com.
At Duke Energy, we're making Indiana's energy grid stronger and more resilient, ready for storms and for our region's growing energy demands. We're upgrading nearly 20,000 poles, adding more power to the Indiana grid, and using new innovations to assess damage more quickly, speeding our response to storms. We're also modernizing the energy grid with self-healing technology to automatically reroute power around damage to help restore outages faster, sometimes in less than a minute. And we're using smart technology to give you more insight on the energy you use at home to help you save. Daily usage charts on our website or mobile app. Usage alerts and home energy reports to keep you in the know. And we're committed to doing everything we do in cost-efficient ways, so we can keep bills as low as possible while we serve you with reliable energy when you need us most. Duke Energy, building a smarter energy future. Paid for by Duke Energy shareholders.
Whether you're a construction pro during the week or just want to work like one on weekends, Quality Supply and Tool is the place for you. Right now at all 4 locations, Indianapolis, Jeffersonville, Bloomington, and Lafayette, Quality Supply and Tool will save you $250 on Milwaukee's M18 Fuel 5-tool combo kit. And buy a select M18 Fuel impact wrench and get an M18 Red Lithium XC5 battery free. That's over $200 in savings. Price is good through November 2nd while supplies last. Quality Supply and Tool thinks outside the box. Store.
Rock and Roll Hall of Famers, the Doobie Brothers, with special guests, Jimmy Buffett's Coral Reefer Band, live in concert, the Walk This Road Tour. This is a party you won't want to miss. The Doobies and the Reefers, live this Saturday at Ruoff Music Center. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Part of the Coors Light Concert Series.
You hear that? That's Mike sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. That's because Mike was smart this time. He took ZzzQuil Ultra to fall asleep fast, stay asleep longer, and get the deeply restorative sleep he needs. So now he wakes up refreshed and ready to conquer Mondays.
Let's do this Monday.
ZzzQuil Ultra. Not for colds, just for sleep. Really great sleep. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Join us every Friday, right around 5:50 for Beer Sample Friday.
Brought to you by Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus, home of free delivery within 75 miles of their store.
More tariffs later, tornadoes possible.
WIBC.com gives you more than just headlines. It's context, updates, and insight. Whether you're at work, on the move, or catching up late, the latest is already there. Stay in the know while you're on the go at WIBC.com.
Okay, so Kev and I were both right. It's one of the few times that could possibly happen. Last segment, I said there was some unreleased Jimi Hendrix work of stuff he had done that came out shortly after his death. We were both right. It is that First Rays of the New Rising Sun. It was not released till the 90s, but it is stuff that he was working on when he died, and then they cleaned it up and put it together.
So this wasn't the crap that he didn't want released while he was alive.
No, he was like working on it, and then he died.
Because, by the way, I'm Jason Hammer.
That's Jason Hammer.
Nige and I have talked about this quite a bit. What happens with a lot of these artists? You saw it with Michael Jackson and Prince, and here's what we found in the vault. Right. We're going to release this now. Like, they had a post-death Tupac album. This was what was in the vault. What's in the vault is all the crap they didn't like and didn't release when they were alive.
Didn't make it to the album.
Yeah, well, Bruce just did this with these 7 or 8 albums that that I never put out. And then you listen to them and go, that's why you never put them out. They stink.
The new Mumbling Gibberish album by Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
Unreleased, found in the vault.
But people buy this stuff.
Yeah. They do. Some people have like a collection, right? Like if you have all of the Springsteen albums or all of the Prince albums, you want to fill out the list, I guess.
Right.
But it's all the crap they didn't want released when they were alive.
And some of it's god awful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just bad. Like, it's inaudible wailing at some points. And I'm like, What record company would have ever put this out? No matter, even if it was Taylor Swift, they wouldn't have put it out.
Should have remained in the vault.
Yeah.
But then you got to remember, there was a record company that had Garth Brooks talk them into being Chris Gaines and doing a pop emo album, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
What was not dumb was your coverage yesterday of the Charlie Kirk assassination. I said this on air with you guys yesterday. I listened throughout much of the day, and I thought you guys did a phenomenal job handling that. And, you know, for people driving down the road, they don't realize how difficult that is to handle, not just breaking news, but tragic breaking news. And it literally happened right before you guys went on the air.
Yeah, so we get here about 10:30 in the morning, and, you know, we put the show together. We try to make it as fun as we can. We want energy, we want bits, a lot of production, wacky songs. That's kind of what we do. So that's how we spend most of our day. We give you the news of the day, and then we try to mix in some fun, too. That's the Hammer and Nigel recipe. Everything we did till about 2:40 went out the window yesterday.
Yeah.
That's when we found out. News started to leak, rather. And it was just fly by the seat of the pants yesterday. And everybody here was so awesome, right? Rob, you took time out of playing with your daughter outside to join us. I knew you had spoken with Charlie Kirk, and you gave a great perspective.
I just left her on the playground, said I'll be back in 10 minutes. Daddy's going to go work. And she was still there when I came back.
She was running with scissors. She didn't have any clothes on.
No problem.
Guy Relford gave a great perspective on the security aspect.
Yeah.
Because in addition to being a firearms instructor, Guy has worked with people on setting up security for these types of events. Back-to-back days, Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith was kind enough to come on.
Right.
He's somebody that went on the road to Purdue, I believe, with Charlie Kirk and some other places. So folks came on last minute, shared their perspectives. We opened up the phones a little bit last night. Felt like it was kind of therapeutic. It was a different Hammer and Nigel show. If yesterday was the first time you've ever heard what we do in the afternoon, it's not normally like that, but when we have to be, that's what we do.
I'm curious, where did you get confirmation of the news?
We saw it first on Donald Trump's Truth Social. I wanted to have a good source with it. Because people were sending me messages, Charlie's passed away, Charlie's passed away. I had seen that for about 20 minutes. But the sources, I didn't necessarily feel confident about. Because one thing we talked about yesterday, and this is still very true, whenever there's a major breaking news story, you know, go back to 9/11 or the Charlie Kirk shooting yesterday, whatever it is, even, you know, Challenger exploding, January 6th, whatever the major news story is, there's so much bull crap that gets put out in the news cycle right away because everybody wants to be first and nobody cares if they're right. So we have to be right. But once I saw the old man, Trump, put that out on Truth Social, it's like, all right, that's a pretty good source. We're going to run with that.
Yeah.
What are you doing this afternoon?
So we had prepared like a 9/11 type show in advance. We have the governor coming on to talk about Indiana and 9/11, and you know we've got other questions for Governor Braun as well. But that's what we had booked him for. Senator Banks talking about 9/11 as well. But we'll also get into the Charlie Kirk stuff. There's a lot of local stuff happening. I'm glad you guys brought that up earlier in your show. It's kind of flying under the radar due to this news cycle. But we'll try to get into that. And you know what? We're going to try to have fun today too. I know it's not a fun day on the American calendar, but if you don't do what you do, man, the bad guys win. So let's get after it.
Thanks, Hammer. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Of all the times to buy a new Lincoln, right now is the very best time at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get 0% APR for up to 48 months on 2025 Lincoln Corsair, Nautilus, or Aviator. Plus get a $1,000 Tom Roush Trade Assist bonus. So come get that new Lincoln from Tom Roush Lincoln, where our family's been serving yours for over 53 years.
36-month, 10,000-mile per year lease. 2,500 due at signing. No security deposit required. All offers subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details. Ends 9/30/25.
The IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship is back at the racing capital of the world. This sports car racing event, September 19th through 21st, is different than anything you've seen at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Sunday the 21st, it's the TireRack.com Battle on the Bricks. And now the race runs 6 hours. The paddock is open for fans all weekend long. Infield camping opportunities make this a can't-miss weekend. Kids 15 and under are free with a paid adult. Get your tickets at IMS.com.
You ever wonder why Verizon charges twice as much as Pure Talk for the same basic service? Think it might have something to do with the fact that Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion? That's billion with a B? Yeah. Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. That's why they can offer unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words micro. That's pound 250, micro.
So, where's the lake?
Not here.
But it says Great Lakes Honda of Fishers.
Right. I just don't see a lake.
Well, who needs a lake when you can lease a 2025 Accord SE for $329 a month and 0 down?
That definitely won't soak our bank account.
Oh, it's the old Honda of Fishers.
Great Lakes, great people, great cars.
But no actual lake. Visit our showroom off State Road 37 today. Tax and title fees not included with approved credit through Honda Financial. In-stock new Hondas only. Not combinable with other offers. Loyalty or conquest rebates may apply. Offer ends September 30th. See dealer for details.
Hi, I'm Dallas, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. You know she loves her Shane Company engagement ring, but you also want to surprise her for her birthday, anniversary, or just because she deserves it. Why not get her a bigger diamond with our easy trade-up program? We'll give you the full credit of your original natural diamond purchase toward a new one. Her new diamond only has to be $1 more. You only pay the difference. How's that for an easy trade-up? Visit us in-store or at shaneco.com. Because a friend wants you to win the gifting game. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Thinning hair? This year, grow your hair back like I did. Call 317-522-2995 or visit WeGrowHairIndy.com.
Call today or go to bwindow.com and receive up to 50% off plus a free patio door.
Because at
B-Window,
we mean business.
Times, it's easy to lose sight of the importance of saving for the future. The National Foundation for Credit Counseling wants you to know there are simple steps to set aside dollars each month. The most important is reviewing all your monthly expenses and establishing a household budget. Need help getting started? Speak with a certified credit counselor who can help map out a plan for you. Call the NFCC at 800-388-2227.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recyclers Studios, the FBI continuing their investigation and search for the assassin that killed Charlie Kirk. They provided an update last hour. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11.
They have some leads in the manhunt for Charlie Kirk's killer. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
We do have good video footage of this individual.
Utah Public Safety Commissioner Bo Mason, the day after Kirk was assassinated, Charlie Kirk, while addressing a crowd at a Utah Valley University.
We have tracked his movements onto the campus, through the stairwells, up to the roof, across the roof to a shooting location.
And they tracked the gunman as he fled. Fox's CB Cotton reports from the campus.
The FBI Salt Lake City office says its agents recovered a high-powered bolt-action rifle left behind in a wooded area where the shooter fled off to. The FBI laboratory will now analyze that weapon.
The FBI also has a palm print, footprints, and a forearm imprint. Charlie Kirk was a conservative activist famed for debating students on college campuses. President Trump paid tribute this morning.
No doubt that Charlie's voice and the courage he put into the hearts of countless people, especially young people, will live on.
He also announced he'll honor Kirk posthumously with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, and President Trump said that at a ceremony at the Pentagon 24 years after the 9/11 attacks.
We will defend the nation they served, the values they upheld, and the freedom for which they died.
One of the hijacked planes by terrorists landed in the Pentagon. Also, there were the Twin Towers attacked that day. And there's a ceremony at Ground Zero in New York City commemorating those planes hitting the towers and when the towers went down, and for when United Flight 93 crashed into a field in Pennsylvania when passengers fought back. We paid more for a lot of things last month. Inflation rose. The Consumer Price Index went up more than expected to 0.4%. The annual inflation rate also increased to 2.9%. Another report this morning shows first-time unemployment claims hit a near 4-year high last week. Yet on Wall Street, stocks are surging. The Dow hit an all-time high. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
An update to their investigation. Skies are partly cloudy, 75 on Monument Circle. The high today, 84. I'm Jarrett Lewis. This report brought to you by Window Nation. Here's what's trending at 11:02. The FBI confirming new details about the assassination of well-known political figure Charlie Kirk, who was killed on a college campus in Utah Wednesday. The FBI says they found a high-powered bolt-action rifle they believed was used in the shooting. They found it in a wooded area near campus. They also say they have footage of the suspected shooter from the time they got to campus up until they left, described as a college-aged man who was wearing dark clothing at the time. Charlie Kirk being remembered for many things, but his faith, family, and fierce defense of free speech are the most important. Ryan Hedrick has the story.
We've received an outpour of support, not just here in Indiana, but across the nation.
That's James Chambers, president of Turning Point USA's Indiana chapter, who says Kirk touched many Hoosier students.
At our last chapter meeting, people remembered him as a family man who championed free speech and family values.
Kirk was shot and killed Wednesday on a debate stage at Utah Valley University. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
President Donald Trump this morning at the White House delivering remarks at a memorial ceremony for the September 11th attacks, remembering those who lost their lives that day and his good friend Charlie.
We miss him greatly, yet I have no doubt that Charlie's voice and the courage he put into the hearts of countless people, especially young people, will live on.
And Trump said he will posthumously award Charlie Kirk the Presidential Medal of Freedom in a ceremony announced for a later date. And Hoosiers are reflecting and remembering the events of September 11th, 2001. WIBC's The Hoosier Call to Courage special offers a powerful journey through history from a Hoosier perspective.
I don't know what the gates of hell looks like, but this was probably it. It's something nobody should ever have to see or live through.
United 175, New York. We have some problems over here right now. We might have a hijack over here, 2 of them.
You can hear firsthand accounts, historical context, and the voices of Hoosiers who lived through that tragedy. You can find that on the homepage of WIBC.com. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
What's up, Indy? Hammer and Nigel here for Window Nation. Now is the best time of the year to buy new windows. Whether you have old, drafty windows or cheap builder-grade ones, September is the perfect month to protect your home from cooler weather. And right now, Window Nation is offering their most popular offer. Buy 2 replacement windows, get 2 for free. Plus, no interest, no monthly payments, no down payments for 2 years.
And did I mention their installation crews can replace a house full of windows in 1 day or less? With Window Nation, you get top quality windows from a trusted company, all at a reasonable price because they know replacing windows is an investment and they want to make it affordable for you. Don't miss Window Nation's most popular offer. Right now, buy 2 windows, get 2 for free. And remember, you'll pay nothing for 2 years. Hurry, Indy, you need to hurry because this sale won't last forever. 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com to get that free quote.
This hour is powered by Sundown Gardens, Hamilton County's fall nursery headquarters.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
So it sounds like there are some updates in the hunt to track down the assassin who killed Charlie Kirk yesterday. Now, look, I'm going to say this. The FBI looked like just rotten yesterday. Kash Patel putting all that stuff out and then having to basically backtrack out of it, like making the public think they had the person.
Yeah,
and then this person has been set for, he should be ashamed of himself for doing that.
Yeah, he said on X that a person was arrested after the shooting, initially thought to be the individual that was responsible, was then released after questioning, and then they had detained another person in the aftermath, and that person was also released. And now it's being reported that the FBI has recovered a high-powered bolt-action rifle in a wooded area where the assassin fled after killing Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, but you can't make that mistake, though. You can't lead the public to believe that you have the person in custody, then go, oh, false alarm. Everybody back on the manhunt. This is why people don't believe anything their government says, because you're right on multiple instances, but especially with that last one. Kash Patel, director of the FBI, made it sound like, hey, the dude's in custody. I don't understand how he could make that mistake. It's one thing to have a guy think, hey, maybe this is the guy. Let's get him. Let's grow.
Well, that's a communication error. Obviously, Kash Patel, I don't believe, was in Utah.
But he can't.
So he's getting that information from somebody, and he must have had some degree of confidence in it, or you think he wouldn't put it out there.
Yeah, but who's going to get fired because of that then? Yeah. Somebody clearly told him that was the guy.
Right.
And if they didn't offer any evidence that was the guy and said it was the guy, he's the director of the FBI, Casey.
Mm-hmm.
You can't make that mistake. But I'm sure nobody will get fired. Nothing will happen. By the way, side of Charlie Kirk, when you factor in that and the Epstein stuff, and these guys, I thought this was supposed to be the new, better, improved FBI. They certainly seem like business as usual over there, based on the stuff we've seen so far.
Well, going back to something that I said on the air yesterday, Twitter Courtney had texted me yesterday afternoon, and we were kind of going back and forth with this. And her question was, where do we go from here? Next steps. And I think that's something that we can talk about. But I reminded her just yesterday on the air, I said, we live in a much more dangerous and complicated world. And organizations like the FBI have got to step up as well to match that.
So the bigger question is, like, when they tried to kill Trump twice, Trump was just like, I'm going about. Now, they may have made some alterations on how they secured him or whatever, but by and large, it was pretty much business as usual for him in terms of doing the rallies. And I know they brought him indoors, but then they were, as you found out, they were back out outdoors before too. Like, you went to the one
in Butler,
Pennsylvania.
And you know what's interesting about that trip? I went to Butler, Pennsylvania for the second rally, and then the next day we stopped at the Flight 93 Memorial.
Yeah.
On our way through Pennsylvania, which is a wonderful memorial if you ever get a chance in Shanksville to visit that.
But the question becomes, for people who aren't the president or don't have access to
Secret Service,
president level of security, how do you even do outdoor events now? Because and Guy Relford was on with Hammer and Nigel talking about this yesterday. There's no way even someone with the resources of a Charlie Kirk could properly secure a perimeter beyond, 100 yards. But even then, it's like you just don't have the resources to be able to do that. And I hate to say this, but I don't know if the only option now is to you got to take everything indoors, and you got to have all these checkpoints. And I don't know. I don't know. Well,
I think it goes back to what you originally said when we started the show, is that you can't live in fear. You can't have this stop you.
No,
from speaking out.
But there is a difference between living in fear and living smarter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think taking it indoors means you're living in fear. It means you got to alter. There's a huge difference between shutting up and hiding underneath the covers and saying we got to change the way we do business. Clearly, and it's nobody's fault. I'm not implying it's anyone's fault. Guy Relford, like I said, did a phenomenal job because he's done, in addition to being obviously a firearms expert, he's done security and been a part of these types of events. And he said, look, there's just a limit. There's just a limit to somebody not the president of the United States has in terms of how secure you can make an outdoor venue. You are, to some extent, if you're outdoors doing something in the outdoors, you're going to be
the risk level is not zero.
A target. To some extent, it is even true with sporting events, although unless it's a place like Wrigley Field, you're generally not in a residential type of area where people have access to rooftops, etc. So the venue itself, even though it may be outdoors like a baseball stadium, sort of serves as a dome type of thing. NFL stadiums the same way. I just don't, and again, there was not another Charlie Kirk, but whether it's these other guys that are in a similar line of work, the Ben Shapiro's, the Matt Walsh, those type of guys. I don't know. I don't see how you can continue to do these going forward unless you're going to do I'm not trying to be funny in any way. The way I say this, it's like a Pope type thing, the Mobile, the bulletproof glass around you when you're in a case or whatever. And again, I'm not in any way trying to make light of this. I'm saying I don't know how you would do that going forward and secure your safety. I don't think you could.
It's also being reported that investigators have collected a footwear impression, a palm print, and also a forearm imprint for analysis of the assassin.
I think part of this comes back to what we've talked about, and we've talked about it throughout the course of the show today. I think we've entered a point of no return in terms of how the internet has emboldened people to insanity. And there's no turning back from it because the internet's not going away. But there used to, you and I have chatted before. Are the people more crazy now, or do we just know about them?
Are we more aware of it?
And I still don't know what the answer to that is. I do think it's maybe a mixture of both, where people have become more radicalized. I mean, clearly there have always been radical people in this country who have done insane things all the way back to, John Wilkes Booth, right? Mm-hmm. There was no internet or computers or whatever then. There was a cause, a thing that he was passionate about. He was wrong, but he did the thing. Or whether it's Oswald or it's Sirhan or, the guy who killed John Lennon, or some people are just crazy, right? So you're never going to stop it. But I find it fascinating that a guy with no power whatsoever, no ability to raise your taxes, lower your taxes, as much as he talked about trans issues, cast public policy on any of that, that guy was the target of someone without the ability to do anything. But then I look at my own social media feed, and it's a great example of how just ridiculous people are. You know what people are barking about me today, Casey, on social media? And it's a daily occurrence for me. So it doesn't,
no, because I haven't looked at your feed.
It doesn't, and that's why
we've been on the air.
That's why you're so happy. They're barking at me because yesterday I posted our State House Happening show about Jennifer Ruth Green and the alleged scandal and corruption with her, which is what our State House Happening show was about.
Right.
And someone was barking at me about, can't you just let it go for one day?
Oh, because that got posted right before the news came out about the assassination of Charlie
We record that show Wednesday mornings, like before we come on the air here. It gets posted usually about 1 or 1:30-ish. The news of Charlie Kirk didn't start to break until 2:30 or later. And I just tried to politely point out to this person, you hate, so like I see this, right? You're so angry at me, and these are the same people that are always barking at me. Your ego is ridiculous. I can't believe you'd post this on the day Charlie Kirk.
You posted it before.
Ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am. We post this at the same time every week. It's recorded in the morning. It was posted in the afternoon. And even if it hadn't been, do you think Charlie Kirk would have been like, hey, dude, don't expose the potential government scandals and potential government corruption? No, Charlie Kirk would be like, dude, good job.
Get to the truth.
Keep going. But yet multiple people, your ego, you're this, you're that. It's like, this was posted before. It wouldn't matter if it wasn't. This is a program we do every week. This is a program that runs on this radio station. So, it's some speck. It's some speck of the insanity that's out there that when people just decide they hate somebody, it's just all bad all the time, and I'm going to get you. And he dealt with it on a level, obviously, that I've never had to deal with it on. But it's just like, what are we doing where people are just looking for reasons, and you don't know if you anger some people who aren't wired properly to a certain point, they can clearly are willing to do about anything.
Yeah, the reactions on social media have been incredible. And, we had this conversation the other day. I don't even know if social media is the right word for it anymore. Because I feel like now it's more of a interest/community media. Because we had talked that survey that came out from NBC News and how the least concern of all the Gen Z voters was fame. And we talked about how that was interesting in this time of likes and views and clicks. But social media is now 20 years old. And I think it's starting to evolve in the way we use it. maybe 10, 15 years ago, it was for likes and views and to win the popularity contest. I believe now people are seeking out like-minded people or what they're interested in and trying to use social media as more of a community builder for them because they're not getting it in person like they used to. So now they're trying to build their community online.
So you're saying it is now, for some people, evolved into, I am not bad, I am not extreme, I am justified because look at all these people who agree with me. And you find solace or affirmation in other people
who feel the same way.
Mm-hmm. That's very interesting, and I actually think that's very astute that you may be spot on to something, which is we have created, and especially in a post-COVID world, because COVID cut everybody off from each other, this lonely existence that has been amplified, and people of the younger generation who was ingrained in a sense of normality not to be having human in-person contact. And as a part of that, people are now in extremes corners of the internet with extreme ideologies, finding comfort and groupthink and solace and affirmation in their warped extremist views.
Yep.
That's very interesting.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It is 93 WIBC.
Sun's up. The coffee is brewing. And Tony Katz is your morning information barista.
Tony Katz, good to be with you.
Clarity.
We're not interested in having this debate. We're only interested in honestly addressing the issue.
Context.
We should not present this in any other light. The objective is the destruction of Western civilization.
And a little caffeine.
Only the Constitution should rule.
Tony Katz in the morning news. Weekdays 6 till 9 on 93 WIBC.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text SAVVY to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text SAVVY to 42424. That's SAVVY to 42424.
Truck drivers, have you been searching for a more reliable driving job? Get the paychecks and predictability you need as a Schneider driver. Schneider's large selection of driving jobs means you can get the home time that suits your schedule. Choose from daily, weekly, monthly, or sometime in between. Plus, Schneider drivers have access to great benefits with a 401k match and a 24/7 support team. Get the keys to a better driving job. Search openings near you and apply now at SchneiderJobs.com.
Why is Macy's one-day sale the one sale you can't miss? For starters, you'll find our best prices of the month on fall's top trends, like $99.99 for trenches and barn jackets, diamond bracelets $249, and for cozy nights in, comfy sheets at $19.99 and under. Plus, it's Star Money bonus days, when Star Rewards members can earn Star Money faster. Not a member yet? Join for free online or in-store. Don't miss Macy's one-day sale tomorrow. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
You're great at protecting your data, but lots of places could still expose you to identity theft.
I thought it was safe.
If that happens, LifeLock gives you a US-based restoration agent who will stick by your side from start to finish. Phone calls, filing documentation, preparing insurance claims, your agent handles it all. In fact, we're so confident restoration is guaranteed or your money back. Isn't it nice to have someone like that on your side? Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use, now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Jeff Chapman here. Your home has a lot of systems. We cover them all. Heating, air conditioning, plumbing, drains, and now electrical. Remember the man for all seasons, and now more reasons. Chapman. ChapmanHeating.com.
Call today or go to bwindow.com and receive up to 50% off plus a free patio door.
Because at B-Window,
we mean business.
Around here, everybody acts the same. Around here, everybody acts like nothing.
You told me something that blew my mind.
Yeah.
It's Kendall Casey show, by the way. I'm Rob. That's Casey. And obviously, this has been just a much different show than we normally do. We thank everybody who's been with us throughout the day today. The tragic assassination of Charlie Kirk, and then you couple that with it being 9/11, which we already had some other, different conversations planned to mark that date. 9/11 is the most significant event in American history, isn't it? I mean, Pearl Harbor's got to be the only one that probably comes close.
Other than the founding of it?
You're right. I'm saying a single event.
Yeah.
In American history, and you think about the change to America that has happened over the last 24 years, you look at the growth of government, the unraveling of civil liberties, the spy state that we have entered. The biggest thing, obviously, as we laid out, we were under $6 trillion of debt in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
Now today we're at 30, so we are 5 times. Our debt has increased 5 times in the past 24 years what it was in the previous 225. That's unbelievable. And so in many ways, the terrorists accomplished probably more than they could have ever imagined because the country was profoundly changed for the long term that day. But so when you factor all that in, it has to be. I mean, obviously, Pearl Harbor thrust us into World War II. However, America came out of World War II, the dominant superpower in the world, and to some extent, certain extent, we remain that to this day. So we came out of, in a weird way, all the stuff that went on in Europe was horrific, and we stepped up, as America always does, and freed millions of people, and was the just everything America has always been. But America itself came out of World War II, and you look at the boom of the 50s and 60s. I mean, a better country. I don't think you can say that after 9/11. I don't think you can say America became a better country post 9/11.
Well, there's a whole generation now that has grown up in the shadow of 9/11. I wrote about it back in 24 when my daughter was graduating college. And you think about some of the events that they've experienced since 9/11. You've got Operation Enduring Freedom, the beginning of social media, smartphones all came into our lives. But they've never known anything but that. The Great Recession, government spending, which you've mentioned, the Sandy Hook school shootings, and the social unrest, the 2016 presidential election, 2020 COVID pandemic, protests on college campuses, entering the workforce with just staggering inflation. But yet, and now artificial intelligence here for them.
So all of that being said, 9/11 has got to be the most significant event in American history. And you told me something that was wild, which is all these years later, there are still lawsuits ongoing involving 9/11.
Yeah. The families of 9/11 victims, they held a press conference yesterday, and they were celebrating what they called legal victory. A federal judge ruled that their case may proceed to trial, and they're claiming that Saudi officials assisted or supported the hijackers.
Well, so this is what's so you just took to the next part, which this is what's interesting to me. And I have understood this, but let's work through it logically, right? So a bunch of these hijackers were from Saudi Arabia. But for some reason, we didn't do anything to Saudi Arabia. We invaded Afghanistan, who just a decade earlier we had armed and propped up. And then our next step after we hadn't even won the war in Afghanistan was to invade Iraq that had nothing to do with 9/11. And yet the country that had the most to do, arguably, with 9/11, which is Saudi Arabia, not only do we do nothing about, but today we enjoy tight economic relations with.
Mm-hmm.
We prop them up. We have diplomatic meetings with them. We welcome their investment in our country. And yet they were the country that had arguably the most to do with 9/11. On what planet does that make sense, Casey?
Yeah. One of the people who is part of this lawsuit, he lost his father on 9/11, and he's claiming that at least 13 Saudi officials were involved in funneling support to the hijackers via embassies and consulates, and 2 individuals were part of an advance team to aid al-Qaeda. And now the case is likely heading to trial. The judge said that there are some facts that remain disputed, but there is enough evidence to the case that
they were totally from Saudi Arabia. Like, it's a no-brainer. But this is and you touched on the other part of this. 9/11 was so much bigger than 9/11 in the sense of the trillions of dollars that we wasted in foreign countries, which is what it's got to be at this point, in this supposed war on terror, and all the lives between Afghanistan and Iraq that were completely ruined for zero reason. Not to say those people weren't heroic in their efforts, not to in any way say that the people who fought over there aren't the bravest and best amongst us. I'm not saying that. I'm saying when you look at, there was zero reason for any possible reason to be in Iraq. That was just total one guy's ill-begotten revenge tour coupled with the military-industrial complex. And then Afghanistan, well, we just gave it away. And those barbarians are back in charge again, running the place. The same group of people. So what was that all about?
Yeah.
Look at how we went out the door in Afghanistan with 13 soldiers being killed needlessly.
And I believe the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, said that they're investigating that now.
Oh, great. Well, I'm sure they'll get right to the bottom of that, just like they've gotten right to the bottom of everything. So my point on all this, though, is it's just important to remind everybody, even though while our government is horrible and they blew everything as they always do, there were many heroes on 9/11. There were many people who stepped up. There were many people who gave their lives so that other people might live, who kept running back into danger, who kept trying to direct people to safety. You hear those stories of people who kept going back in the buildings over and over. And at any point they'd gotten out, they'd be, maybe alive today. And so just remember those people today, because while our government is often the worst amongst us, the people of this country are the best.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It is 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
The latest from the FBI. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 11:30. In the most recent update from the FBI this morning, they say they've recovered a bolt-action rifle they believe was used in the assassination of Charlie Kirk on Wednesday at a Utah college campus. But they are still looking for the suspected shooter, who they describe as a college-aged man. President Donald Trump making this announcement this morning.
I'm pleased to announce that I will soon be awarding Charlie Kirk posthumously the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
The president spoke at a 9/11 memorial ceremony just outside the White House. He and Kirk were close friends. Kirk founded Turning Point USA, a popular conservative political group involving students. And first responders and local leaders also remembering September 11th while in downtown Indianapolis.
First responders hate to fail. We hate it.
Chuck Dowd, the former commanding officer of the NYPD Communications Division, nearly 3,000 people lost their lives 24 years ago. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com.
If you're experiencing a hardship and need to quickly sell your home, we may be able to help. Simple Quarters has helped over 3,000 families sell their homes in Indiana.
Simple Quarters has helped me by allowing me to sell my house. It's given me the financial stability to be able to move and go on with that next chapter. Simple Quarters was the best option for me because there was no BS involved. It was simply straightforward, to the point, honesty. And that is what made me go with Simple Quarters. There was nothing that I didn't expect. They didn't have hidden fees. They didn't ask me to go get an appraisal. They didn't ask me to have a surveyor come out. This has probably been one of the easiest experiences in my life. And if I ever have to do it again, I would call Simple Quarters again. Simple Quarters absolutely kept their word through the whole process.
Call Simple Quarters 317-900-HOME. 317-900-HOME.
Hey guys, it's Rob. You know, it's September 11th, and that means a week from today, September the 18th, there's an incredible event going on in central Indiana to help Project Rescue stamp out human sex trafficking across the globe. You know, we mention Project Rescue all the time. We love this program. I donate to them. They're a great organization. And this year, as in years past, they're partnering with Life Church for a Hope Starts Here breakfast. This is at the Lucas Estates. Yes, that Lucas Estates. And it's totally free to Lucas Estates. Yes, that Lucas Estates. And it's totally free to attend. There's no financial obligation required. They just love to tell you about what they do and about the great work they do helping people fight human sex trafficking. Get all the information about the free breakfast September the 18th, a week from today, at Lucas Estates by logging on to lifechurchin.com.
The deals and specials are sizzling hot. It's the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show this Saturday and Sunday at the Hendricks County Fairgrounds in Danville. The best dealers in the region. Hundreds of tables. Just $6 for adults. Kids 12 and under get in free. Must be 18 or accompanied by an adult. Buy, sell, trade. This Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Hendricks County Fairgrounds in Danville. For more info, visit CentralIndianaGunShows.com.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Of all the times to buy a new Lincoln, right now is the very best time at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get 0% APR for up to 48 months on 2025 Lincoln Corsair, Nautilus, or Aviator. Plus get a $1,000 Tom Roush Trade Assist bonus. So come get that new Lincoln from Tom Roush Lincoln, where our family's been serving yours for over 53 years.
36-month, 10,000-mile per year lease. $2,500 due at signing. No security deposit required. All offers subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details. Ends 9/30/25.
Pros trust Milwaukee Power Tools, which is why Quality Supply and Tool is one of the largest Milwaukee dealers in the country. And right now at Quality Supply and Tool, buy a select M18 fuel grinder, bare tool, and get your choice of the Red Lithium XC8 battery kit, 3/8-inch mid-torque impact wrench, or 4.5 to 5-inch variable speed grinder free. That's a $279 value. Or buy a select M18 4 or 6-piece combo kit and choose 2 select M18 tools free. Only until November 2nd while supplies last. In Lafayette, Bloomington, Jeffersonville, and Indy, Quality Supply and Tool thinks outside the box. Store.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text SAVVY to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text SAVVY to 42424. That's SAVVY to 42424.
Fall is in full swing at Sundown Gardens. Locally grown mums and pumpkins plus fall annuals and decor. 186th Street, Spring Mill Road in Westfield. It's sundown.gardens.com.
The Suburban Indie Home and Outdoor Living Show.
September 19th through 21st at Grand Park.
Shop, compare, and save with over 200 trusted experts.
Tickets are $7 at suburbanindieshows.com.
Your house is waiting. Your house is waiting for you to walk in. For you to walk in. But you're missing.
Casey, I think I've solved all of your life's problems.
Oh, good.
You do not know what I'm about to present to you.
Glad I
but
came in
think
today.
This is the thing for you. It's Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. That's Casey. People now, according to the Wall Street Journal, are solving their hectic life by hiring their own executive assistant.
Oh, hey. Someone who does all your stuff, right? How much are they paying?
The little tagline says, regular people are shelling out executive assistants to balance work, home, and their kids' crazy schedules. Okay, wait now.
It does feel like you need some help sometimes. You know, you've got so much to do.
Here's my problem.
Got a long way to go and a short time to get there.
You will back me up on this. I like things done in a very particular way.
Yes.
Like
So you wouldn't be able to delegate it out?
I don't need much, and I think I'm a total minimalist, right? Like I don't collect things, I don't have hobbies, I don't ask things of people. Like I have very few things, but like the things that I just need them done in a certain way, and it would be very frustrating to me having to explain how I want the things done because inevitably it wouldn't be done that way. And I'm also too impulsive to just have some person that needs everything, to try to plan everything out.
You just got to trade them once.
What?
Put him through the one-time Rob Kendall training and make it very clear how specific you are, and then you're good.
Like, I don't like my stuff being touched. You know how I am. I'm
Don't touch my
very
stuff.
easy here, but when things are not put back, like, for example, and this was nobody's fault, but they mislabeled, they didn't change the label on the show today. And it has bothered me all day. Like, I've just looked at that, and it just ate at me all day because it's the OCD, right?
Yeah.
It's not.
You've handled it very well.
It's not.
You've only brought it up four times.
Well, I told Kevin, I was like, Kevin, please tell me you can change the title of the show once the show's over. So we got all these hits today. I don't want them going to Tony Katz. I don't want Tony Katz getting any credit for any of this. And it's just ate at me all day. So I'm very particular about like the way things are situated, when things don't work, when that computer is so loud. I don't feel like an executive assistant would understand all of that and the time it would take to explain that to them. But my life is not that busy.
Like, do you need an executive assistant?
No, I mean, my life is basically the same every day. I get up, I go to work, I come home, I got like 3 or 4 hours, I get my kid from daycare, I play with her for several hours, she goes to bed, wife and I spend some time together, we go to bed. Like, I mean, what do I, like...
I can understand where there's, working parents who have multiple teenagers and all of their different school events and sports and whatever extracurricular activity they're into.
What are you, the Brady Bunch? How many kids do you have?
Well, I only have one.
Well, right. But even if you had 2.
I understand how busy people are. And I guess if you have the means, knock yourself out. You need a little help. Isn't that what grandparents are for, though?
Speaking of kids.
Shouldn't they be the one to help?
Okay, so speaking of kids, help me out on this. So Livy and I, we go to the same playground most days. It's perfect. It's for little kids, and there's almost never anyone there. And every day we walk past this last empty patch of grass left in the entire town of Brownsburg. I think the school owns it. And there's always some sort of football team or something having their practice there. And every time I'll walk by, I've got her in the wagon and I'm pulling her and I can see from across the street. There's all these parents there that are, their kids are having practice. But none of them are looking at their kids. Now, you can't see me here unless you're on the YouTube chat. But what they're doing is this.
They're on their phone.
Like, nobody's watching their kid anymore. It's just like, and it's all of them. It's tablet, phone. Don't you want to watch your kid do the...
They're probably watching during the game. This is practice.
Is that weird?
Maybe they're working. They have stuff to do. Maybe they need an executive assistant.
Is that a me thing that I think that's very strange that they're not... Like, if you're going to do that, why don't you just stay at home and then, you got to pick your kid up in an hour and a half. Like, what's the point of being there if you're just going to not be watching your kid? You could say, Rob, that's weird. That's a you thing. That's not weird.
Well, I mean,
Did you watch your kid
at practice?
Yeah. Or you were a head and phone person. You were, weren't you?
Head and phone. She played sports for so long.
Yeah.
When she was little, I would go and watch the practice. As she got older, I mean, I didn't.
Did you love your kid less? Is that why?
Not every second.
Then why'd you stop watching?
And then she started driving herself.
So you didn't go anymore?
Not to the practice.
Oh, no. You're saying, once
to
you
the
started
games.
driving.
No, I was intently
Yeah.
tuned in.
Oh, you were that parent.
To all the action during the game.
I bet you were a scream at ref person because you're so nice. Every nice person has a crazy streak in them, and I bet yours came out at the sports.
Yeah, I was pretty involved. I wasn't angry about it. I did my fair share of cheering, though.
Cheering.
Yes.
Is that the word you're going with?
Yes.
Very good.
Cheering.
I knew it. I knew it.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It is 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, remembering September 11th, and reminding each other that we've got each other. That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
Hey, do you have more than $200,000 saved for retirement? You could put that money in the stock market, but you have no idea what will happen with it. Or you could make a smarter move and get a 20% upfront bonus and a competitive return that's averaged more than 10% annually over the last 10 years. Here's the math. If you invest $200,000, you get an upfront $40,000 bonus. That's $240,000, right?
That $240,000 could earn 10% or $24,000 in that first year. So, by year's end, your original $200,000 could grow to $264,000. Get all the information by calling Bill Demery, your retirement guy, 317-648-5120, or visit yourretirementguy.com. That's Bill Demery, your retirement guy, 317-648-5120, or visit yourretirementguy.com.
Football is back, and so are great hairlines. We Grow Hair Indy has helped former local professional football players get back in the game with full natural hair. You don't have to play pro ball to get pro-level results. Hey, it's Rob, and I knew I picked the right team when I needed a Hail Mary for my hair. I called We Grow Hair Indy. Whether you're tailgating, coaching, or watching from the couch, do it with confidence. Trade the sidelines for a hairline. Get back in the game at We Grow Hair Indy. Schedule your free evaluation today at WeGrowHairIndy.com. That's WeGrowHairIndy.com, or call 317-522-2995. That's 317-522-2995. Enjoy being out and about this fall. Enjoy watching the games in person with your friends with confidence you haven't had in years. And you can do it with a trip to We Grow Hair Indy. 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995. Tell them Rob sent you.
Don Fisher for QC Kinetics. I was struggling with chronic knee pain and wasn't encouraged with the options of risky surgery and pain pills. QC Kinetics offered the best option for me, cutting-edge regenerative medicine. Their non-invasive treatment stimulated my body's own biologics so I could be pain-free and get back to doing what I love, playing golf. QC Kinetics has a fantastic success rate, and it's clear to see why so many Hoosiers are happy to tell their story of how they reclaimed their lives with the QC Kinetics approach. Ready to live your life pain-free? Go to QCkinetics.com/Indianapolis or call 317-559-PAIN and get a no-obligation consultation. QC Kinetics uses the latest technologies, whether it's stem cell, PRP, plasma, or a number of other advanced therapies. Call QC Kinetics. It'll be the best call you will make. Get back in the game, whatever that is for you. Call 317-559-PAIN.
The IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship is back at the racing capital of the world. This sports car racing event, September 19th through 21st, is different than anything you've seen at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Sunday the 21st, it's the TireRack.com Battle on the Bricks. And now the race runs 6 hours. The paddock is open for fans all weekend long. Infield camping opportunities make this a can't-miss weekend. Kids 15 and under are free with a paid adult. Get your tickets at IMS.com.
Some things can steal your sunshine.
Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken.
Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit Pfizerforall.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Need furnace or heat pump service and want to work with a local independent dealer you can trust, like Stevenson Heating and Cooling? Find that American Standard Air dealer at IndyHomeComfort.com.
Join the Home and Garden Show live this Saturday from 9 till noon at Sullivan Hardware and Garden, 71st and Keystone for the grand opening of the Grill Palace. Check out Weber, Traeger, Big Green Egg, and more. The ultimate grilling inspiration awaits.
Well, you know, Casey, we started our program by saying this is going to be a much different show than what we normally do, and it certainly has, with both the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and then obviously this being the 24th anniversary of 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, like this business that we're in is fascinating because there are few days in our job that I don't want to come to work. And today was kind of one of those days because it's just either something horribly negative, like the assassination of Charlie Kirk, which is just beyond description, and then it's the remembrance of something super sad, which is 9/11. But, you know, at least with 9/11, that you can find some solace in the reminder of the heroic nature in which people were saved, lives were saved. Obviously, the plane that went down in Pennsylvania saved, you know, countless lives, if indeed it was headed for the White House. So you can find some good in that, even though it's you know, the most horrific event in American history. You can still say, look at the courage that people showed that day. You can't find any good in the Charlie Kirk thing. You can't find any reason in it. You can't find anything to pull out of it. And it's just days like today. Thankfully, they're few and far between, but, man, they're rough.
It is difficult. They do seem to be coming more frequently. You know, when Donald Trump was shot in Butler, you were looking for hope in it. And in that instance, we were given it because he got right back up and raised his fist in the air and said, fight, fight, fight. And it was definitely a catalyst moment for a lot of people. The sad part about the assassination of Charlie Kirk is that we didn't have that immediate sign of hope. And I think that's going to be up to us individually and collectively to pull each other up and give each other hope. You know, Rob, patriots come with different accessories. Some people have a uniform. Some people have a badge. Some people have a microphone. And Charlie Kirk was a patriot defending our First Amendment right, freedom within free speech. And as you mentioned, days like today are hard to try and make sense of it. And that's what we do. That's what we get paid for, to commentate on situations like this. So I think that it is up to us to carry on and defend that freedom, that First Amendment. And I think it's up to our listeners to help us do that.
Yeah, and I think that's the big struggle for a lot of people. And my wife and I were talking about this, and she was right last night, that it's an assault on free speech. Because to me, I look at it and go, hey, the guy was not. We say this all the time about me, right? Now, you're the nice one on this show, and everybody loves you.
It makes me worry for both of us.
Well, as the residential villain of the Kendall and Casey show, I say this all the time. The heat I get, it comes with the territory. It's fine. It doesn't bother me. But, like, I'm not an elected person. I can't affect anybody.
Yeah.
I have no power over anyone. If you hate me, you can turn me off, and I don't exist in your world. You can block me. You can not turn on the radio. And so for the Charlie Kirk thing, it's the same thing. It's like, this guy was not the president. He wasn't a senator. He wasn't a governor. He was just some guy.
Creating dialogue.
Who, he went on college campuses. He had a podcast, radio show, all those sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody was forced into anything Charlie Kirk that didn't choose to subject themselves to it, and that's what I struggle with. And that's why my wife, she said, no, you have to understand, it's an assault on free speech. It's not an assault. It was an assault on Charlie Kirk, but, you know, that's what people need to take away from it. That's the thing that needs to be the lasting legacy is free speech is under attack in this country because Charlie Kirk, and I talked with Hammer and Nigel about this last night. I know we touched on it throughout the course of the show today. He was never off the rails. It's never a fraction of, you know, what I do. He was never, you know.
He openly, publicly, and respectfully debated his opinions. And he did that with people who disagreed with him. But at the end of the day, he was still just a commentator. You know, he did it to prove that free speech was real. It was worth defending. He did it on college campuses where you're supposed to have open dialogue, a place where you go to learn and debate ideas. And it happened at the start of another collegiate school year. And Rob, it doesn't matter what side you're on with this. This is bad. It's sad. Political violence should be condemned in all arenas. And it's a very dark road to try and normalize violence. And it's also quite terrifying. And there are many people who are hurting today for various reasons. And we as people, as humans, for the sake of humanity, we have got to lift each other up instead of taking each other down.
Yeah, and so we will go out today. I'm not going to leave you with that. I will leave you with this because it's also the 24th anniversary of 9/11. We've talked about that link throughout the show today. That our country, while the horrible actors get amplified, whether it's the guy on the subway in Charlotte or it's this horrific act on Charlie Kirk, like in the internet society, this is what gets dominated, gets amplified. But I still believe that the vast majority of people in this country are more the firefighters, the police officers, the people on the plane in Pennsylvania on 9/11, the heroes, the people at the Pentagon, that's the overwhelming majority of us. And so, you know, one of the challenges has to be, how do we build a world where those are the people that get showcased and amplified? Because you're right, it'll suck you into a vortex of it's all over, right? It's all, you know, it's just this, but it's not. And it's not going to bring Charlie Kirk back. And obviously, the events of 9/11, the 3,000 people who tragically died on 9/11 are not coming back. But if we remember and keep front and center, like you said, the ideals of Charlie Kirk, which take his politics out of the equation, the ideals of Charlie Kirk were free speech matters, and you have a voice, and you have a right to your opinion as long as you don't harm other people. And if you think about those ideals and what he stood for and carry that with you throughout the course of today, and the ideals of the people and the heroes on 9/11, whether it was in the Twin Towers or the Pentagon or the plane or whatever, that is our country. And I still think that's our country. And I still think that we have to work to elevate those types of people so that we don't end up in this spiraling vortex of it's all over and everything's gone to hell, and there have to be things worth fighting for. And those ideals and those people are the constant reminders that this country remains worth fighting for. I'll take it out. It's fine. We want to thank you for listening today. We want to thank Kevin, as always, for doing a great job. Casey, great job. And most importantly, as always, look, I want to say this. Thank you to you, our listeners. We love you. And I'm going to speak for Casey on this, and I think she'll agree with me. We do this because of you. We love you. We want to be your voice. We're willing to be bold and to be brash and say the things we say because you deserve a voice. And don't let fear get you. You keep speaking out. You keep speaking up. That's what guys like Charlie Kirk would have wanted. We'll keep doing it here. You keep doing it at home, and we'll see you tomorrow. It's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
There's something timeless about radio. It's where stories are told, ideas are shared, and communities stay connected. Our generation grew up with it, and we still believe in the power of tuning in. At Howard Bailey Financial, we believe planning for retirement should feel just as familiar and trusted. That's why we're bringing real conversations and practical advice to the airwaves. Join us every Sunday at 9 p.m. for our Retire with Purpose Radio Hour, right here on 93.1 WIBC. We'll talk about what really matters in retirement, income you can count on, choices you can feel good about, and a future that reflects your values. Because some things, like good planning and good radio, never go out of style. Howard Bailey Financial, retirement planning that speaks your language. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com. The Retire with Purpose Radio Hour is a paid placement on each airing station.
Without an Advent clinic nearby, people suffering needlessly from chronic nasal congestion and sinus infections would be stuck with either Band-Aid or sledgehammer solutions. Band-Aids are pills or nasal sprays, and they're not true solutions. Surgery is a sledgehammer, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Because most people don't need surgery for nose and sinus issues, nor do they want a 14-day recovery. Our unique Advent approach can, in 20 minutes in our office, open your blocked nose for good, with only 1-day recovery. I'm Advent founder Dr. Kandula. Outside of Advent's four walls, invasive surgery is what they'll recommend. But here you will find effective and convenient in-office solutions to help you stop the need for Band-Aids and avoid the sledgehammer.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Most insurance accepted.
Deals and specials are sizzling hot. It's the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show this Saturday and Sunday at the Hendricks County Fairgrounds in Danville. The best dealers in the region. Hundreds of tables. Just $6 for adults. Kids 12 and under get in free. Must be 18 or accompanied by an adult. Buy, sell, trade. This Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Hendricks County Fairgrounds in Danville. For more info, visit CentralIndianaGunShows.com.
You ever wonder why Verizon charges twice as much as Pure Talk for the same basic service? Think it might have something to do with the fact that Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion? That's billion with a B? Yeah. Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. That's why they can offer unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words micro. That's pound 250, micro.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Call today or go to bwindow.com and receive up to 50% off plus a free patio door.
Because at B-Window,
we mean business.
On the level, on the go. 93 WIBC Indianapolis.
Coming up, we have recovered what we believe is the weapon that was used in yesterday's shooting.
I will soon be awarding Charlie Kirk posthumously.
You know, Charlie was able to promote free speech.
On the morning of September 11th.
This is the WIBC News at noon.
September 11th, Charlie Kirk, and where we go from here. Mostly cloudy and 77 degrees in the Circle City. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 12 noon. Investigators are trying to find the person responsible for killing political activist Charlie Kirk at an event at Utah Valley University Wednesday. Here's what FBI Salt Lake City Special Agent in Charge Robert Bowles had to say today.
This morning I can tell you that we have recovered what we believe is the weapon that was used in yesterday's shooting. It is a high-powered bolt-action rifle.
Bowles says it was found in some nearby woods where they think the suspect ran from. They have footage, but they don't want to release it. The FBI says they're also looking at footprints and other imprints for analysis. President Trump was a friend of Kirk's, and he spoke about him this morning at the Pentagon.
I will soon be awarding Charlie Kirk posthumously the Presidential Medal of Freedom. The date of the ceremony will be announced, and I can only guarantee you one thing, that we will have a very big crowd. Very, very big.
Kirk leaves behind a wife and 2 children. The president of Turning Point USA's Indiana chapter, James Chambers, says Kirk's legacy will continue to inspire students across the state.
You know, Charlie was able to promote free speech in a way where on both sides of the spectrum, whether you're conservative or liberal, you can agree that we can both argue for free speech.
A candlelight vigil is planned for Sunday night at Dunn Meadow in Bloomington. Indiana's Attorney General Todd Rokita says now is not the time to give up hope.
Win hearts and minds through fearless dialogue and debate, just as he did on stages nationwide. We must pick up the baton he carried. God bless Charlie. God bless his cherished family and the enduring spirit of freedom he leaves behind.
Other Hoosier politicians like Senators Jim Banks and Todd Young expressed similar sentiments. 24 years after 9/11, 2 men with different memories of that day are in Indianapolis for a ceremony honoring its legacy. Ryan Hedrick reports.
On the morning of September 11th, 2001, former NYPD Chief Chuck Dowd arrived at the city's 911 center where he oversaw communications.
First responders hate to fail.
At the gate, an officer told him that a small plane had hit the World Trade Center. He said he was concerned, but he had no idea of what was coming next.
The support that we got from public safety, not only from around the nation, but from around the world, lifted our morale.
At the same time in Indianapolis, David Richards was just 2 years into his job with the fire department and fresh out of the military. A young man still finding his footing when 9/11 changed everything.
It just hits you. I'm getting chills now thinking about it and remembrance of, you know, this is just part of life, I guess. And now here we are 24 years later.
Both men said they hope that people will never forget the 2,977 people who were killed on 9/11. They shared that message in downtown Indianapolis at the 9/11 Memorial. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You can also listen to the WIBC News special, The Hoosier Call to Courage, on WIBC.com. 9/11 remembrance ceremonies happening all across the United States today, including in New York, the Pentagon, and Shanksville, Pennsylvania. There is the traditional reading of names of all the innocent people who died that day.
24 years ago today, I lost my dad. I was only 1.5 years old. Not a day goes by that I am not missing you.
And my father, David Michael Barclay. Although I didn't get to meet you, I've heard so many amazing stories from your loved ones.
And my sister Katie, Catherine McGarry Nowak, you'll always be missed, and you'll never be forgotten.
And my sister, Catherine Leakster Lobodies, you're always on our minds and forever in our hearts.
The annual tribute in light later will illuminate the New York City skyline to show where the Twin Towers once stood, where Hoosiers might be getting some help. That story and more next on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, remembering September 11th and reminding each other that we've got each other. That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
Well, Tony, the government also has to figure out its financial situation by September 30th, or there will be a government shutdown. Fox's Ryan Schmelz.
The top congressional Democrats say they're in total agreement with healthcare being a red line.
We will not support a partisan spending agreement that continues to rip away healthcare from the American people.
House Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate Leader John Thune are likely to push for a short-term extension of government funding to give Congress more time to work on 12 individual spending bills to fund the government through the next fiscal year. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
More Americans than expected found themselves filing first-time claims for unemployment benefits last week. The Labor Department saying this morning it got 263,000 initial requests in the week ending September 6, which is up 27,000 from the week prior. A new law signed that might help Hoosiers when it comes to health care. Johnette Cruz reports.
Governor Mike Braun has signed a new law aimed at helping families of medically complex patients across Indiana. Co-authored by State Representative Bob Benning, the bill seeks to address challenges from recent changes to the state's Medicaid waiver program. The legislation allows new discussions to potentially bring back a program that compensates parents for serving as caregivers for their medically complex children. Lawmakers say the goal is to find a more cost-effective way to provide these vital services while ensuring support for Hoosier families who need it the most. Johnette Cruz, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
And I'm John Herrick, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
This hour is powered by Miss M's Home and Garden, Johnson County's Fall Nursery headquarters.
Live from the heartland and the crossroads of America, it's Tony Katz Today.
These are the times that try men's souls, wrote Thomas Paine in The American Crisis. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will, in this crisis, shrink from the service